Ben already told me how you got that power, Vivian. Are you sure that you want to be on my program? We can discuss the sordid details off record. I just want the whole world to know my side of the story and how I plan to take Russo Jewelers into the future. What do you say? You know what? Never mind. I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Don't play dumb with us, Pacho. Not after you greenlit a smear campaign against our mentally ill son for Owen Grant's benefit.
Mom, you never disappoint with making the soup jumu. Happy Haitian Independence Day. Thank you for the encouragement, JJ. And I'm glad that the soup has brought you some sort of joy. I just hate that I'm gonna ask what I'm about to ask. What is it, Mom? How are you holding up with Owen Grant's recent smear campaign, where the incident involving you and Devontae Torres is mentioned? Happy New Year, Mr. Dorval. I doubt that you wish me a Happy New Year, Owen. Not after you brought up my son in your sick little smear campaign. To make a long story short, Pacho has been secretly dating Lorenzo Russo's secret daughter. I can't imagine how Lorenzo's wife feels, knowing that her husband got some other woman pregnant. One thing for sure, since we're eating at the other woman's diner, she knows how to cook a meal. Dee. Happy New Year, Zeke. Thanks for having me on your program, Quinlan. You're dating the boss. I sure don't want to upset him on the first day of the year. On top of that, I don't miss out on open opportunities. Hello everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to today's edition of Live with Quinlan Franklin. Today I am joined by a guest who has news that will surprise all of you, and she has come to the studio to share her side of the story. I'd like to introduce you all to Vivian Jones, the youngest daughter of billionaire Lorenzo Russo and the new CEO of Russo Jewelers. I'm good, Mom. Are you sure? Because what Owen Grant and Pacho Torres did was cruel and unfair. It's not like people don't know what happened the last time Devontae Torres was here. Besides, I don't think too many people would feel bad since Devontae's serving a life sentence for taking Elvira's life. Even so, our family has been forced into the public eye, and what you suffer from was used to do it. Can't say that I'm surprised since you and Dad endorsed D.A. Russo. Don't take it personal, Mr. Dorval. What happened is just a result of the ugliness of politics. Oh, I will take it personal. I don't care if you come for me, Owen, but you hit a new low involving my son. I didn't involve your son in anything. Either you're delusional and dumb, or you believe that I'm some sort of fool. Happy New Year, Dee. It's also Haitian Independence Day. Well, happy Haitian Independence Day too. I'm really sorry to do this, but I'm really busy right now. I'm spending time with Michelle. Is that so? Let her know I say hi. You two enjoy the rest of your time together. Bye, Zeke. Dee wanted to let you know. Save your breath, Zeke. Why did you even answer her call? Unlike the Russos, I didn't come from money. My mother raised me on her own. I want to let the public know that I don't blame Lorenzo. He had no idea that I even existed. Since this isn't a tell-all, I'll keep the complicated details to myself. But you have definitely been able to rise above your circumstances. Of course, at a young age, I made it a point to be a hard worker. That's exactly how I became CEO of a billion-dollar company. The youngest CEO in Russo Jewelers history, might I add. Since you didn't grow up as a Russo, there will be those viewers who wonder how you, Lorenzo Russo's illegitimate daughter, was able to have access to Russo Jewelers shares to begin with. That's because I was honest with a specific member of the Russo family. When I explained who I was gifted with shares, which I was honestly entitled to since Lorenzo Russo is my father. Owen Grant brought up a very heavy, sensitive event in your life, JJ. It broke you to the point where we had to send you to an institution. I was kinda hoping that I could consider that place to be a fever dream, since we're in a new year. This is serious. What Owen did shows that he's not the sort of man who should become district attorney. I'm not gonna argue against that, Mom, but since you and Dad publicly endorsed D.A. Russo, it made me and everyone else in our family open targets. I don't think that you're a fool, Mr. Dorval. Then don't pretend like you didn't pull a manipulative move. I'm not trying to manipulate anyone. Like I said, this is politics. It has a way of hurting people's feelings. You sure weren't trying to hurt my feelings when you sought an endorsement from me. Now I see how you wanted to punish me for rejecting your request. To be fair, I warned you and your wife that you would regret endorsing D.A. Russo. Sorry, Nichelle, but I would have felt bad if I ignored her call. Besides, you were right in front of me. You ain't seen me on the phone that long. I was really hoping that you'd leave Dee Benjamin in 2024. Well, it's 2025 now. You're my number one girl, Nichelle. Not Dee, not anyone else. You were born in very complicated circumstances, Vivian. Unlike your family, you never grew up wealthy. Did that ever make you resentful? To be honest, I was more sad than angry. Sure, I lost out on living a luxurious life when I was young, but I'm a CEO now. I've got my whole life ahead of me. But I feel sorrow over the fact that I grew up without a father. Before the end of the year, Lorenzo discovered that you were his daughter. How does he feel about you? Especially since you're now running his company. He feels no resentment against me at all. In fact, he wants to make up for lost time. You're right. Your father and I understood the cost of endorsing D.A. Russo, but I'm ready for any battle that comes our way as long as Owen Grant doesn't succeed. What do you think he'll do if he ends up losing? I don't know, JJ. What I do know is that your father and I aren't gonna back down. Here's my warning for you, Owen. I'm a husband, and I'm a father. I'll do whatever it takes to protect my family. I don't expect anything less. I'd also like for you to understand that I'll work extremely hard to become the next district attorney before the end of the year. Once Valley Park sees you for who you are, I can guarantee that you will not win this election. I'm number one in your life, yet you're looking at her direction? Sorry, Yvette she caught me off guard. Either you can pretend like she's not here, or we can walk out. Don't stress, Nichelle. I don't even remember what we were just talking about. Shirley? Shirley Jones? I go by Shirley Pierce now. Wanda Mitchell. You sure haven't aged much at all. Except you're no longer trying to look like Kelly Rowland. It's so good to see you again. When I heard about this place, I didn't even think it would be possible that it would be the same Shirley. This is my daughter Yvette. Yvette, this is Shirley. She used to work for the Russos as her cook. Hi. Hello, Yvette. You two can take a seat and take a look at the menu. Once I make sure y'all get your meals, we can catch up. Sounds good? Looking forward to it. I've really missed your cooking, Shirley. Before Shirley joins us, what did you need to tell me? Yvette, forget it, Mom. It's really not that important. Are you willing to allow Lorenzo to make up for all the time that he lost? It's impossible since time travel doesn't exist, Quinlan. Lorenzo can't make up for the 20 years he lost, but the two of us have talked, and we plan to figure out how to live our life as father and daughter, but also learn how to work together as business associates. So Lorenzo hasn't been completely kicked out of the company? Of course not. He's been assigned as chairman as I begin to lead the company. I want loyal customers of Russo Jewelers to feel comfort in knowing that I don't plan on changing the culture of the company, but I do plan to bring exciting new ideas to bring the company into the new year. What are you watching on that phone that's got you so worked up, Clarice? Gianni sent this to me. That bastard of yours abruptly went on Quinlan Franklin's program and told the entire world that you're an adulterous sperm donor. I knew that girl would turn our lives upside down. Just wait until she lives under my roof, Clarice. That bastard of yours abruptly went on Quinlan Franklin's program and told the entire world that you're an adulterous sperm donor. I knew that girl would turn our lives upside down. Just wait until she lives under my roof, Clarice.
You better have not deleted any specific messages. There were no messages to delete because I didn't send any to him. Since Brandon is no longer alive, I guess I'll just have to take your word for it.
Why do you look like you're ready to rip my face off, Ma? Because your actions lately have earned it. What actions? Conspiring against the Russos with your friend Vivian. You have no idea how happy I am to see you living here, Vivian. Let's save the small talk for later. Where's my room at? Lorenzo, what did that bastard mean when she's asking where her room is? Since you haven't seen the news of Quinlan being attacked again, do you believe that I didn't hire Brandon to take her life? Who you're gonna have to convince is the police. Hey Kimmy, how are you doing? Not bad. I saw your interview with Vivian Jones the other day. That girl's the definition of a boss. You and many viewers seem to think so. It blew my ratings straight through the roof. I also wanted to let you know how sorry I am about Brandon coming after you and Zeke. Thanks, Kimmy. There's no reason for you to worry though. Zeke and I are fine. Please let your mom know that. I seriously am sorry, Quinlan. I should have told you how dangerous Brandon is. Why are you upset, Ma? What do you mean, why am I upset? You helped stage the hostile takeover of another family's company, Bacho. I'm still trying to figure out why you're upset with me. Your father took Elvira away from the Russos. How do you think they'll respond since you took their company? Lorenzo, don't tell me that you ain't tell your wife that I'll be staying here. Over my dead body. Bet. Cause you've gotta be a heartless witch to pull what you pulled with my mama all them years ago. Don't you call me that. Not in my house. My house, Clarice. You should have learned how to accept Vivian into your life years ago. Now that she's living in the estate, you'll finally figure out how to do so. This will end up being a disaster. Do you not understand how having your bastard will affect us all? Tell me I didn't just hear what I think I just heard. I know this wannabe Russo isn't living with us. Now, why did I think I was gonna move in here quietly? If you came here to wish me a happy new year, Commissioner, I think you're a couple of days late. Luckily, I didn't come here for all of that wait. I came to ask you and your brother some questions. What do you want to ask us this time? Has your family ever had any connections with the late Brandon Pittman? Let me stop you right there, Commissioner Pierce. I know exactly where this is going. I know that you're trying to insinuate that I hired Brandon to try and take Quinlan's life. What do you know about Brandon's violent personality, Kimmy? He was never a nice guy. I feel so stupid because I never thought he'd try and take someone's life. Brandon hasn't been violent towards you, has he? Nah. What about Danny? Has he ever been violent towards her before she lost her life? I never took Russo jewelry's, Ma. Besides, it stayed in the family since Vivian took over. Except the Russos don't consider her to be family. On top of that, when were you planning on telling me that Lorenzo is her father? When she was ready to share it with the world? Most of all, it wasn't my secret to tell. Do you not understand that the Russos aren't gonna see it that way, Pacho? I had to convince Isidore to back off when he wanted to confront you on New Year's Eve. And what did you do in return, Ma? I'm really sorry, Vivian. I think I'm gonna be sick. You would choose her over your own family, Lorenzo? Vivian is family. I'm not getting any younger, and I refuse to lose out on any more opportunities to spend time with my daughter. All I need are directions to my room, and I'll be out of your sight, y'all. Unless you're going to take your luggage and crawl out of here, I don't want you to take another step in this house. Last time I checked, it's my name that's on the deed. If anyone here doesn't like it, then you're more than welcome to leave. Since you brought it up, Wade, did you hire Brandon to take Quinlan's life? No, I did not. And you'd be pretty pathetic at your job if you thought you'd get another response. Can you blame me for asking? Not long after Quinlan mentioned Brandon and your family, her life was almost taken. Everything isn't as connected as you think, Commissioner Pierce. Shut up, Sean. Hold on. Your brother's a grown man. Why don't you let him speak his piece? Brandon is the reason why Danny left. Did he constantly hurt her? I don't think so, Quinlan. One time I noticed that she got a black eye. I pretty much knew who she got it from. She told me how she was gonna make enough money to get Brandon out of the house. What exactly are you trying to insinuate, Pacho? Isidore will do whatever it takes to get you back, Ma. If he finds a chance to do it, then he will. As you can see, Isidore and I aren't back together. He didn't even ask for a New Year's kiss. You are disgusting, Pacho. And it sickens me that this is how you want to start the new year. This is all your fault, Dad. My fault? Yeah. You hire Vivian without doing the proper background check. You don't even think to put two and two together when it came to Vivian and her mom? Don't try and talk to me like I'm stupid. You foolishly thought you'd be able to run Russo Jewelers. Like father, like son. Dad, please. You and Mom fell for the same trick too. Everyone, shut up. As for you, you must be loving this, seeing my house fall apart. I won't let you get that satisfaction, girl. Don't think I'll stand here and let you speak to Vivian that way. Not when this is the best way to bring this family together. As if I take advice from you as to how to bring this family together. Not when you invited the very reminder as to why this family is falling apart, Lorenzo. I think I'm gonna enjoy living here. You don't even think to put two and two. I'm the head of this family, Commissioner. Either me or a lawyer, if necessary, will speak for my family when it comes to certain circumstances. As for the situation, there's nothing tying my family to Brandon Pittman, so stop looking pathetic by wasting our time. I don't care if you're in your late 20s, Sean. Don't even think as much as to sneeze in front of law enforcement ever again, especially if I'm in the room. I guess that's how Danny got involved with the Apinas. Danny ain't want her younger brother to keep on being scared. She was desperate to give him a better life. I just wish it ain't cost Danny her life. Do you think Brandon had something to do with Danny passing away? I do, 'cause he forced Danny to face the world alone. What did you need to tell me? Yvette, forget it, Mom. It's really not that important. Lorenzo, what did that bastard mean when she's asking where her room is? Did he constantly hurt her? I don't think so, Quinlan. One time I noticed that she got a black eye. I pretty much knew who she got it from. She told me how she was gonna make enough money to get Brandon out of the house. As you can see, Isidore and I aren't back together. He didn't even ask for a New Year's kiss. You are disgusting, Pacho. And it sickens me that this is how you want to start the new year. Hey, Mama. Why don't you seem happy to see me? I'm always happy to see you, baby. It just hurts knowing what you've been up to. I think you'd be proud of me for finding work, especially since I'm the boss of a huge company. My first day as CEO has been a success. If I wanted to know what you were up to at that place, then I would have asked. Does this mean that you don't care that I'm living at the Russo estate now? Why did you ask me to come over here, Isabel? To not only apologize for Pacho's behavior, but to ask that you not go after my son for helping Vivian to take over Russo Jewelers. Since you met with Kimmy the other day, how is she doing? Not too bad, but she's a girl who still misses her best friend. Talking to her also reminded me that the world is a better place without Brandon Pittman in it. You've got our attention, Yvette. What did you need to tell your mother and I? You've got more money than you've ever seen in your life, Vivian. You could have brought yourself some other place to live. I would have loved for you to live here, but why live with the Russos? Cause I'm trying to get a taste of what life would have been like if I grew up in the family home. The Russos ain't your family. Please don't take this the wrong way, Mama, but DNA tells me otherwise. I'm focused on taking Russo Jewelers back for legitimate family members, Isabel. Revenge isn't anything I'm focused on. Are you sure? I know how much you love your children. I wouldn't lie like that. Not when you've just entered a new year without your youngest daughter. What exactly did you and Kimmy discuss? Danny left home because Brandon ended up hurting her, Ben. She was so driven to raise enough money that she believed she'd be able to get rid of the guy. No teen should have to bear that sort of responsibility. I understand where Danny was coming from. I know what it's like when you want the man who's dating your mother to get out of your life forever. Are you referring to Zeke's dad? Before I say anything, I just want to let you both know how sorry I am. What do you have to be sorry about, baby? And I also want you both to promise that you won't hate me when I tell you what happened. You've only known the Russos for a season. Isaac and Austin are your family, girl. Just cause I got rich, don't mean I'm gonna forget either of them, Mama. And I sure ain't gonna let this new position make me forget where I come from. It sure has encouraged you to forsake what you've been taught. Except Christianity ain't something I agreed to partake in when you started going to church, Mama. As long as you can remember, you were taught to treat others right and to be grateful for what you got. Now that you got what seems to be like all the money in the world, I know for sure that you're gonna want more. My heart aches, knowing that I'll be forced to spend a new year without Yulissa. You can lean on me if you let me. Since we both seem to be struggling so early on in the year, it shouldn't be an issue to lean on each other. How come I feel a butt coming, Isabel? The two of us have been in this position before, Isidore, and it always seems to end in disaster. I'm thankful that I wasn't trafficked like Danny was and worked hard at school to make sure that Zeke and I could have a better future. You never told me why you never liked Zeke's dad, Quinlan. He wasn't a good man. Did he also hurt you like Brandon hurt Danny? Let me make one thing clear to you, Yvette. No matter what you have done in your life, nothing, and I mean nothing, will ever make your father and I hate you. Your mother's right. You are our only child, which means that you are our world. But you too will be so disappointed in me, and I always find a way to do that. That's what kids do, baby. Your father and I aren't perfect. We've disappointed our parents before. Whatever you've done, we're gonna work through it as a family. So what exactly did you do, Yvette? I've been active again. I'm still hooking up with guys. Hold up, Mama. The Dorvals are your friends. They got money, except they worked hard, and God blessed them for it. As for you, Vivian, you jumped hurdles and hurt others to get what you got. When Lorenzo got you pregnant, you ain't terminate the pregnancy, which means that I shouldn't have had to make questionable decisions to get what's always belonged to me. You must think that I deserve to have Russo Jewelers taken from me since Ellen and I tried going after Theodosius' palace when we found out Devante took Elvira's life. Two wrongs don't make a right, Isidore. I don't find joy in what you lost. I want you to know that my New Year's resolution is to make sure that my actions don't end up hurting you. I thought your New Year's resolution was to take Russo Jewelers away from Vivian. That's one of my goals, Isabel. Even so, that everyone achieves their New Year's resolution. I wish you the best for getting back Russo Jewelers. When it comes to making sure that you won't hurt me, I'm not sure if I can expect that much from you. When have you ever known me to give up on my goals? Zeke's dad hurt him by disappearing Ben, but isn't that exactly what you wanted? We'll continue this conversation for another day. Okay, thank you for being honest. Not that we're happy, but as long as you're staying safe, then you don't have anything to worry about. I tried to stay safe, Mom. I really tried. What do you mean you tried, Yvette? There was this one time my period was late and I had to make sure. I saw that it was I'm pregnant. My period was late and I had to make sure. I saw that it was I'm pregnant. When it comes to making sure that you won't hurt me, I'm not sure if I can expect that much from you. When have you ever known me to give up on my goals? As for you, Vivian, you jumped hurdles and hurt others to get what you got. When Lorenzo got you pregnant, you ain't terminate the pregnancy, which means that I shouldn't have had to make questionable decisions to get what's always belonged to me. How did I let this happen again? How come I let you into my bed? Probably because you and I care about each other. You already said it, Isabel. The two of us tend to find ourselves in this place over and over again. Except it doesn't have to end in disaster like it has before. Do you actually think the two of us will have a future together, Isidore? What you doing here, Clarice? Vivian, I didn't expect to see you here. Oh, really? You're surprised that I'll be visiting my mother at her diner? I expect you to show up to a place like this, especially since it's so close to the south side. Guess this must be really important. I'd like to speak with your mother privately. Alright, Zeke. Now that we're finished with work, what's the surprise you said you had for me? It's a gift. Christmas already passed though. Yeah, but I just wanted to show you that I'm committed to you, Nichelle. Only you. Can you two say something? What do you want us to say, Yvette? Congratulations? Wanda, please. We promised Yvette that we would figure this out together. Fine. First things first, young lady. I want you to tell us what sort of idiot got you pregnant. I don't see why neither of us can get back together. For the obvious reason, Isidore. You and I aren't good for each other. Our spouses clearly weren't good for either of us. If they were, then we'd still be married to them. This is serious. I didn't want to enter the new year going back to old habits. And I didn't want to enter the new year without you either, Isabel. I ain't gonna leave you alone with my mama. If Clarice wants to speak with me, Vivian, then let her say what she has to say. If this lady's got something to say to you, then she can say it in front of me. Besides, my very existence connects the two of you. I am your mother, girl, and I'd like for you to respect me. Respect me enough to let me speak with Clarice alone. Fine. I'll see you when you get back home, Clarice. What is it that you needed to say to me? to ask you why you brought so much destruction into my life, Shirley. What did you get me, Zeke? Zeke, this is so beautiful. So you like it? Is it so hard to tell? I absolutely love it. But don't make this think that you can try and buy my love. I never try to do that in the show. All I want you to do is remind yourself how much I love you whenever you look at those two doves. It doesn't matter. It does matter, Yvette. Especially when you didn't get pregnant on your own. I don't want him to get involved. Whoever this boy is definitely wanted to get involved with you. Wanda, this isn't helping. Are you really gonna ask me to put off trying to figure out who impregnated our little girl? Of course not. Yvette, your mother does have a point. This boy, whoever he is, he shouldn't get off scot-free. All I want to do is forget about it. Except getting pregnant doesn't give you that option. There's one other option I still have. I can terminate this pregnancy. Do you honestly believe that we will be able to make it through 2025 together? There aren't people coming in between us that will keep us apart. The two of us might not be married to other people anymore, but Pacho certainly doesn't want to see us together. For some reason, Harley wants to make sure that I stay far away from you. If you had gone to the proper authorities, Keith would have never been born and Ulissa would most likely still be alive. Since you claim to care about Isabel, I would assume that you feel like she deserves to know the truth. Your son and my ex-wife don't have to see us together, Isabel. I never wanted to ruin your life, Clarice. Just like I told you over 20 years ago, I never intended for any of this to happen. You coming back to Valley Park makes it hard for me to believe you. My husband was offered a job to become the next police commissioner, and he could have declined that offer. I did everything I could to make Isaac change his mind, but he was adamant on coming here. He even convinced me that you and I would never cross paths. Clearly, we have, Shirley. Worst of all, your daughter is making her presence known. I had no idea what Vivian was up to, Clarice. Like I explained at Christmas, I had no idea that Vivian was even here all of these months. I never thought she'd try to do what she did by taking over Russo Jewelers. Then you should have made sure to keep that daughter of yours in the dark like you promised. I'm really sorry for making you feel like you don't love me enough, Zeke. You ain't got nothing to apologize for in the show. Just let me say this. Ever since we got back together, I let my insecurities about your past actions affect how I think of you now. It's a new year, and I want to work on trusting you 100%. You're gonna terminate the pregnancy? Are you sure that's what you want? She's about to turn 16, Udell. 16-year-old girls don't want to end up raising babies. I know that, Wanda, but you know there's a process to terminating a pregnancy. Yvette, this really isn't the sort of decision you should take lightly. It's her body, Udell. And giving birth to a baby isn't a decision that should be taken lightly either. Do you know how far along you are, Yvette? I got pregnant on Black Friday. That long? Yvette, you're past the limit in the state of Florida. It's too late to terminate the pregnancy. Oh, no, it's not. Now I'm getting lost, Isidore. You just told me that you want us to get back together. That's exactly what I want. But that doesn't mean that people in our lives have to know. Wait a minute. We're both in our 40s. The two of us are too old to be sneaking around like teenagers. Think of it as us being two adults who enjoy one another's company and feels like it's no one else's business that we're seeing each other. Honestly, Isabel, I don't care who knows or not. All that matters to me is that I get to spend time with you, the woman who I love and who I've always loved. I never told Vivian about Lorenzo. Ever since she was born, I've been trying to keep my promise. No matter how many times Vivian asked who her father was, I never gave her an answer. But she sure obtained the answers that she wanted. And it's obvious that she wasn't going to live the rest of her life without answers, Clarice. I also didn't want to marry a man who I was keeping secrets from. Isaac needed to know, and when Vivian overheard us, she did so without our knowledge. You know how serious this situation was, Shirley. How could you have been so careless? For the 100th time, I'm not happy about how everything turned out, but neither of us can turn back time, and we need to accept what happened.
I will never accept all that has occurred, and I plan to do something about it. Please don't apologize, Nichelle. Not when I should be sorry for hurting you over and over again.
And I forgave you. This year, I'm gonna make sure that my actions show you that you've been forgiven.
What do you plan to do, Wanda?
There are other states, like California, that are less strict, and we've got all the resources for an emergency flight.
So you're just gonna drop work and make Yvette miss days at school to get this procedure done?
As her mother, I'll do whatever it takes to protect our daughter's future. As her father, a man who runs a law firm, you can go through the proper channels so that she can be allowed to travel since Yvette is still on probation.
I'm gonna ask you this one more time, Yvette. Are you sure that this is what you want to do?
I don't want to be a mom. I'm really sorry that I've put you two through this, but I really want to make this right.
Worst of all, your daughter is making her presence known.
I had no idea what Vivian was up to, Clarice. Like I explained at Christmas, I had no idea that Vivian was even here all of these months. I never thought she'd try to do what she did by taking over Russo Jewelers.
Then you should have made sure to keep that daughter of yours in the dark like you promised.
I don't want to be a mom. I'm really sorry that I've put you two through this, but I really want to make this right. So everything's all right now, Yvette? You've been really quiet since you called me on New Year's Eve. Everything's gonna be all right, Dee Dee. In fact, I'll be going away for a bit. Going where? California. California? What you going all the way over there for? Come in. Udell, if you're here to ask me if I already booked the appointment for Yvette's procedure, then you've got nothing to worry about.
I didn't just come here to discuss the termination, Wanda. I want to know if the two of us can find common ground.
What do you want, Lorenzo?
I wanted to let my daughter know that I'm impressed to see how you've been running this company so far. How are you doing, Alan?
Working at Russo Jewelers has been absolutely miserable, Nona. Knowing that I'm not the one in charge makes work feel like a drag.
Do you blame me for Vivian being in charge?
You didn't have to keep quiet about who Vivian actually was, but I understand that you were in a tough position.
Thank you for understanding, Alan. I'm truly sorry for not supporting you when you expressed your desire to become CEO. Since our family is in a tight spot right now, I'd like for you to take your proper place as the next CEO of Russo Jewelers.
My mom has some business to take care of at California, and she let me tag along with her. That's so cool, Yvette. I can't wait to be a fashion designer where I can get the opportunity to travel the world. But how are you able to travel while you're on probation? My dad runs a law firm, remember? He made sure to get it approved. That's right. Wow. It's just crazy that your parents allowed you to travel so soon after school opened up again after Christmas break. What do you and I need to find common ground on?
Our daughter fell pregnant, Wanda.
As long as everything goes to plan, Yvette won't be pregnant for long.
At the moment, she still is. The two of us were so focused on our own issues that we didn't make sure that Yvette wouldn't find herself in this situation.
Is that all you wanted to tell me? Because I'm too busy making sure my company has a successful year.
I also wanted to let you know how surprised I am to be relieved to see someone else take my position, especially someone who is so driven and capable.
What's your point, Lorenzo?
A lot of pressure comes from being CEO. I should know. If the pressure gets too much, then I'd like for you to know that I'll help you however I can.
Nona, it's not that I don't forgive you, but why do you now feel like I'm more capable of running Russo Jewelers than Zio Gianni?
When you initially came to me with your goals, I was unaware that Vivian was staging a hostile takeover. Most of all, I wanted one of Lorenzo's children to take over after he stepped down.
Clearly, you got your wish.
Having that bastard take the position my son should have had is the last thing I wanted, Alan. That girl never had a claim to the company to begin with.
My parents made it clear that this spontaneous trip to California would be a one-time thing. Besides, it's gonna be really short and I'll be exhausted when I get back. When are you leaving? By the end of the week. Even though the trip will be short, at least you're gonna have a fun weekend. Don't forget to send me pics. You're absolutely right, Udell. I made a mess of everything and I wish I could take it all back.
It's not fair for you to bear all of the responsibility, Wanda. You wanted to find some way for us to reconcile, but I wouldn't let it happen.
Don't do that. Not when you had no idea that Yvette would even end up getting pregnant. Most of all, I'm the one who hurt you time and time again. Our marriage drained you emotionally. In fact, I wouldn't blame you if you've reached your breaking point and wanted to divorce me today.
A divorce is the last thing I want.
I ain't interested in asking for your help, Lorenzo. Your only responsibility is to keep our business partners calm and happy during this transition.
If you ask me, I feel like you have the ability to do that all on your own.
That's right, and I'd like for you to remember that since I'm living at the estate, we can make small talk there and not at work.
Sorry, guess I'm so used to our previous chats, it doesn't matter.
Are you really sorry, Lorenzo? Do you actually want to apologize for trying to get on my good side so that you could get my company back? Since Benedict was the one to sign over half of his shares knowing exactly who Vivian was, it's clear that he doesn't share your views, Nona. I promise you that I won't judge you for your actions, but you really dropped the ball keeping this secret.
After everything that occurred these past few weeks, I do regret not exposing Lorenzo's bastard when I had the chance, especially if I knew that she was trying to take over Russo Jewelers and that she would move into the estate.
Once again, Nona, why do you think I'd be the perfect person to take the company away from her? Hey Zeke, see you later, Dee. Glad you ran into me, Zeke. I wanted to let you know how sorry I am for calling you when you were spending quality time with Nichelle.
It's all good, Dee. It ain't like you did it on purpose.
How does this new year look for you two? Does it look bright?
It really does. And I bet it's gonna be bright for you too. I know you're gonna find a guy who's special to you just like Nichelle is special to me.
Trust me, Zeke. I intend for a special guy to come into my life before the end of the year. You don't want to divorce me? But Udell, you've been so eager to end our marriage the moment Yvette turned 18.
I'm gonna ask you this once, Wanda, and I want an honest answer. Ever since I caught you and Owen on Labor Day, have you two been intimate ever since?
No, Udell, I never let Owen touch me.
Alright, I believe you. Our girl needs us, but I also need you. I love you, Wanda, and I want our marriage to work. I want to make sure that Yvette lives in a home that is built on a healthy marriage.
You have no idea how long I've been waiting for you to say those words, Udell. I love you so much.
I'm not conspiring against you, Vivian.
You were in charge of this company for many years. Now you ain't got that power, and I know that you must miss it.
What hurts me the most is that you hid the fact that you were my daughter for almost an entire year. It breaks my heart that you thought I wouldn't welcome you into the family.
If I told you who I was, Lorenzo, I wouldn't have the position I got today. Please leave my office.
Vivian is young. It would make perfect sense for someone around her age to take her place. Alan, you must take what rightfully belongs to our family. It sickens me that the bastard has gotten a positive response after stealing what's ours. No isn't gonna like that we're conspiring against his daughter. Your no longer has the power. What upsets him no longer matters. And I want an honest answer. Ever since I caught you and Owen on Labor Day, have you two been intimate ever since? No, Udell, I never let Owen touch me. I don't care if you're in your late 20s, Sean. Don't even think as much as to sneeze in front of law enforcement ever again, especially if I'm in the room. No isn't gonna like that we're conspiring against his daughter. Your no longer has the power. What upsets him no longer matters. You've been pretty distant lately, Max. It's kinda hard to be around you, Mom, since you stowed my future away. I'm really glad to see you, Wanda. You've been away longer than I expected. Don't get too excited, because this is the last time you and I are ever gonna see each other, Owen. I can't believe that I'm here. I don't even know why I'm here. Guess it's because I won't be able to see you judge me, Ulissa. But I want you to know that you won. Even though you're no longer alive, you still find a way to beat me. JJ wouldn't want me if you were still here. Now that you're gone, JJ's never gonna want me. Yvette? You sure have piqued public interest when you mentioned Brandon's violence towards Danny, which drove her to make fast money. The public deserve to be updated, Ben. Have you learned nothing from the last time you almost lost your life, Miss Franklin? Please try to understand, Max. I'll admit that your father and I dropped the ball, but our intention was to secure your future. Do you think I care about what your intentions were at this point, Mom? Bottom line is that you played with my future without even speaking to me about it. You hadn't turned 18 yet. I was still the one who was in charge of holding on to your Russo Jewelers shares. It didn't seem appropriate or necessary since I didn't expect to lose hold of your shares for good. Would you have cared about what I felt if I knew what you and Dad were up to? I think I've lost count of how many times you claimed you and I would never see one another again. This time I'm dead serious, Owen. Yet you wanted to come here in person because I was trying to respect you enough not to tell you all of this over the phone. Enlighten me, Wanda. What makes this time different than all the other times you swore I was to stay out of your life? Udell agreed to work on our marriage. I can't say that I'm surprised that Ulissa would get a visitor when I stopped by to place roses at her grave. She was truly adored. You're not wrong, Mrs. Dorval. How is this year treating you so far, Yvette? It's okay. My cousin Dee Dee tells me that you're going to California. I assumed that you'd be excited to take such a fun trip. I am excited, Mrs. Dorval. And I heard that you'd be having another baby. Congratulations. Thank you. Is it okay to ask you how it feels to be pregnant? The best thing that I can tell you is that I'm trying to take it easy more than I did when I was carrying Vanessa and JJ. I'm not as young as I was when I was last pregnant. You'll understand that someday when you get the chance to carry a baby on your own. You seem really excited though. Was it planned? Not at all. But I don't love this new baby any less. Since I'm older, I do have my concerns, but I'm really excited to meet my new son or daughter. What about when you gave birth? Was it scary the first time? How was the pain? Yvette, are you okay? I'm good. I really want to know what it will be like. Sorry if I'm asking too much. Are you sure that everything is okay? I know I haven't really gotten the chance to know you these past couple of years, but a friend of my cousin is a friend of mine. If there's anything that you want to tell me, you can. and I'll gladly listen. I'm pregnant. Oh, Yvette. I don't need your pity, Mrs. Dorval. I'm gonna terminate the pregnancy. I get that you want all of this to go away, and I know this isn't an easy position to be put in, but I'm begging you to reconsider. I don't like the way you just approached her, Commissioner. And I don't like how Miss Franklin here is encouraging public speculation. What speculation? We're both certain that the Apinas had something to do with Danny losing her life. Does this mean you believe that the Apinas were behind Brandon Pittman's attempt on your life? I don't think so. Brandon was a man who didn't like that I mentioned his name on national television and wanted to do something about it. I thought you were smarter than this, Miss Franklin. From the bottom of my heart, Max, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for falling for Vivian's con. The last thing I want is for us to be at odds for the remainder of your senior year. Are you really asking me to forget that you and Dad were so desperate for power that it cost me my future? You still can have a future at Russo Jewelers. All of your shares aren't gone. You're gonna be in college later this year and learn so much that by the time you graduate, you'll be able to offer so much to the company. Vivian would be a fool not to allow you into Russo Jewelers. Don't you worry, Max. Vivian won't even be CEO for long. Again, Wanda, you're singing the same tune. What makes you think that Udell won't decide to drop you when you do the smallest thing that he wouldn't like? I don't owe you that answer. What you owe me is respect. I do respect you. Then honor my decision. All right, I'll honor it. But I'll also be right here, waiting for you to come back. This is my body, Mrs. Dorval. Besides, my mom already booked an appointment. And that's why you're going to California? I'm too far along to terminate the pregnancy here in Florida, which means that the baby, your baby, already has a heartbeat. Not too long, maybe even in a week. Your baby will grow fingers and toes. I'm not trying to hear all of that. The fact is that it's still a fetus. Not a baby. Yvette, if you're focused on the truth, then let's focus on the truth. You're carrying a human fetus who is growing every single day. A tiny little baby who God placed in your womb. A living soul that has been placed in you the moment he or she was conceived. I'm not gonna try and change your mind about your beliefs, but that doesn't mean I have to believe it either. You might not be a Christian like me, Yvette. Even if you haven't asked Jesus to be your Lord and Savior, doesn't make what I said any less true, baby. You're a young girl. I understand that you're afraid, but your fear doesn't erase the fact that your baby exists and is depending on you. Depending on me? Mrs. Dorval, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be pregnant. I'm gonna be turning 16 soon. I don't want to be someone's mom. I'm not ready. What mother is ready, Yvette? You're right. I understand that you haven't reached adulthood yet. I know that you didn't ask for any of this. Did some guy force himself? No, I already cried wolf once. When I got pregnant, it was consensual. Okay, I'm glad that you weren't forced into anything you weren't comfortable doing, but you did do something that led to your pregnancy. I know that you don't want to have a baby. I know that you don't want to be a mother, but the fact of the matter is that you are a mother now. That doesn't mean you have to be a parent, though. If you're gonna disrespect Quinlan in her own apartment, then I think it's best for you to leave. It's fine, Ben. Commissioner Pierce, I thought you were smart enough to realize that if the Apinas wanted me gone, then they would have hired a professional to take care of me. Wade Apina would have hired a professional. As for his younger brother, Sean, what do you think he would do to get rid of someone he doesn't like? Sean wouldn't be able to make a move without Wade's say-so. Are you sure about that, Miss Franklin? What are you gonna try and do, Dad? I'm gonna figure out how to get all of our shares back and kick Vivian off her seat as CEO. But what do you plan to do, Gianni? Are you saying that you're gonna take her place? That's the only way to correct my mistake. Good luck, Dad. I won't be back here, and you need to let me go. If I let you go before, then you and I wouldn't have enjoyed the time we spent together. And that time was amazing. Keep your hands off me, Owen. All right, I won't touch you, but I'll be right here when you find yourself missing my touch. I miss being close to my husband, and I won't mess it up this time. I refuse to lose Udell. What are you talking about? If I'm already a mother, then I'm already a parent, Mrs. Dorval. What I'm trying to say is that you don't have to feel obliged to raise this baby if you truly don't believe that you can. There's no shame in giving up your baby for adoption and giving him or her to parents who will be amazing. I'm part of one of the richest families in town. My baby would have everything it needs. The baby wouldn't be poor, but it would need more care, attention, time, love. That's right. Money doesn't make anyone a good parent, Yvette. Motherhood requires a lot. But I know from experience that mothers need support. Did you talk to the father? The father, I didn't tell him. What about your parents? They already know you're pregnant. Would they support you? If you decide to keep the baby, I know they'd support me, Mrs. Dorval. But I can't disappoint them. I can't keep disappointing them. And carrying this baby to term would embarrass them and make them so ashamed of me. I need to have this termination. You feel like you need to terminate, but you don't. Yvette, terminating a human life is a very violent, horrific process. Even if you're given all the treatment in the world to make the process easier, all your baby will ever know in this world is death. Stop trying to scare me. I promise you that is not what I'm trying to do, but I am trying to make this real to you. If you go through this termination, there is no going back, baby. Maybe there's a chance you might be okay with your decision, but there's also a very strong chance that you will constantly be reminded of the fact that you got rid of your baby and that nothing you can do will ever bring them back because life is irreplaceable. I'm pleading with you, Yvette. Think this through because whatever you decide will affect you for the rest of your life. Lord, I pray that I was able to get through to Yvette. If I didn't, then I pray that you can get through to her, Lord. I pray that she would understand that she has a baby who needs her, a baby who should have the chance to live. Lord, please give Yvette the peace that passes all understanding and give her the bravery and the conviction to give this precious new life a chance. In Jesus' precious name, I pray. Amen. Is there something that you know that Ben and I don't? It is true that Wade is the head of the opinion organization, but Sean is a grown man who doesn't appreciate being treated like a child by his older brother. Sean might be the brother that you should be worried about. What do you think about that? I hate to admit it, Quinlan, but I think what Commissioner Pierce said is something worth considering. Mrs. Dorval, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be pregnant. I'm gonna be turning 16 soon. I don't want to be someone's mom. I'm not ready. I know that you don't want to have a baby. I know that you don't want to be a mother, but the fact of the matter is that you are a mother now. Don't you worry, Max. Vivian won't even be CEO for long. Wade Opina would have hired a professional. As for his younger brother Sean, what do you think he would do to get rid of someone he doesn't like? Sean wouldn't be able to make a move without Wade's say-so. Are you sure about that, Miss Franklin? I couldn't stop thinking about what Commissioner Pierce pointed out to us the other day. Does this mean that you've come to some sort of conclusion, Quinlan? Since Sean was in charge of the specific parlor where Danny was seen at and clearly working in, I'm beginning to wonder if Wade is trying to protect his younger brother. What's up, Clarice? Just because Lorenzo foolishly has you living here doesn't mean you have any right to approach me. Most of all, you shouldn't be comfortable living in this house. That's too bad, cause I'm getting quite comfortable living here, actually. You won't be staying here forever, Vivian. Why is that? Having you here, being able to spend this time with you, Isabel, it's been so wonderful. Because I'm helping you deal with the fact that Vivian is in charge of Russo Jewelers? Guilty. Is that the only reason you're sleeping with me, Essador? Just so you could get your frustrations out? Not at all. I wouldn't be investing in this room if I didn't love you, Isabel. Most of all, I want you in my life while Vivian is CEO and after she's no longer in that position. If you go through this termination, there is no going back, baby. Maybe there's a chance you might be okay with your decision, but there's also a very strong chance that you will constantly be reminded of the fact that you got rid of your baby and that nothing you can do will ever bring them back because life is irreplaceable. I'm pleading with you, Yvette. Think this through because whatever you decide will affect you for the rest of your life. Are you ready to go, Yvette? I'm not sure. I don't think I'm ready, Mom. That would make perfect sense. Wade protecting Sean would mean protecting the entire Apino organization. Yes, but if it's true that Sean hired Brandon to take my life, then it shows that Sean is reckless and sloppy, which means that Commissioner Pierce had a point when he told us that Sean might be more dangerous than we thought. And now I'm beginning to wonder if Sean was the one who took Danny's life. The only reason you're here is because this is a result of Lorenzo's failed attempt at trying to make up for lost time. And do you want to remind me exactly why Lorenzo lost out on time with me, Clarice? On top of that, your sons still live here and never even moved out when they had their own families. Yes, Vivian, my sons. The sons Lorenzo and I share together are always welcome here. Just cause I ain't your daughter, don't make me any less Lorenzo's, Clarice. You literally had over 20 years to get used to the fact that the little baby Lorenzo had could eventually come back to haunt you. Does this mean you're already scheming to kick Vivian out as CEO of Russo Jewelers? That's nothing you have to worry about. You're not going to tell your son what I'm up to, right? Pacho shouldn't have been scheming with Vivian to begin with, Isidore. Glad we're both on the same page. Now I have another question. Are you trying to get Russo Jewelers back for your family, or are you trying to acquire it for yourself? Just take a breath, baby. I don't want you to be scared. I'm gonna be with you every step of the way, okay? Are you gonna be with me in the room when I get the procedure done? I won't, but I'll be waiting for you in the waiting room. And when you get the procedure done, they can offer you anesthesia medication. That way, you won't even have to be awake during the whole thing. What about after I wake up, Mom? I'm gonna wake up knowing that I terminated my pregnancy, and that's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. Your father and I are gonna help you through any healing that you need. We got you. But you and Dad won't be able to bring back the baby. What if I end up regretting it? I promise you that you'll find yourself asking the same thing if you go through with this pregnancy. That's what I thought at first. That was until I looked at videos of the procedure. Yvette, why did you do something like that? I needed to know everything that would be done to me and what would be done to what's inside of me, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Mom. But I don't think I can go through with this. I don't think I can put my baby through that. Try not to get ahead of yourself, Quinlan. That parlor has a lot of sick clients who could have taken Danny out of there and ended her life. Think about it, Ben. We never heard of a number of deceased women who were found naked in a suitcase on the side of the road, or found all over the south side. Danny was 14. She was a minor. It's clear that whoever hurt her was a sick, demented monster, which makes me wonder if Danny was the only minor being forced to work at this parlor. Is that why you agreed to stay here, Vivian? To make me miserable in the latter days of my life? That depends on your attitude. What on earth are you talking about? You need to accept that I'll be staying here for the foreseeable future. You also gotta accept that the world will see me as the face of the Russo dynasty for as long as I live. Enjoy this season, you spawn. Because one day the whole world will soon see you as the evil parasite that you are. Whatever. Besides, what you gonna do? Leave my grandmother alone. I honestly don't see the difference, Isabel. Are you serious? Knowing your family, especially your brother Gianni, they would be upset if Vivian is no longer CEO, all for you to take her place. What do you think I should do then? Hand the company back to my father? It's only fair, Isidore. That way Lorenzo can choose who should take over Russo Jewelers like he initially planned. I might as well let Vivian lead the company then, because she somehow found a way to become my dad's golden child. There's no need for you to freak out. Remember, it's a fetus, not a baby. Its heart is already beating, Mom. A heart that's not mine. It's a heart that wasn't even there until I got pregnant. I'm not pregnant with a cat or a goat. What's inside of you? It's not conscious. It hasn't experienced life like you and I have. Baby, there's no shame in terminating the pregnancy. What matters most is that your father and I will always love you. Will you two love me any less if I decide to keep my baby? Would you two help me learn how to be a mom? A good mom? You shouldn't even have to ask that. But you shouldn't have to become a mother either, baby. Motherhood requires so much. I don't want you to have to endure the struggle of that at your age. But you just told me that you and Dad would support me no matter what I decide. Mom, I want you to cancel the flight and the appointment. I'm gonna keep my baby. Are you sure? Because once I make that call, there's no going back, Yvette. I'm positive. If you and Dad can help me figure this all out, then I'll go through with this pregnancy and raise this baby. All right, okay, I'll cancel the flight. We can cancel the appointment. It's your choice, and I'll respect it. Most of all, I'll do everything I can to help you every single step of the way. Can you at least let me know what made you change your mind when you were so adamant on terminating the pregnancy? I went to Ulysses' grave and I ran into Mrs. Dorval. Mrs. Dorval? What does she have to do with this? I started to ask her about how it's like being pregnant and what it's like to give birth. She knew something was up and I told her. You didn't have to do that, Yvette. I know, but she really seemed like she wanted to listen. When I told her that I was going to terminate the pregnancy, she really encouraged me to think it through and... She did what? Please don't get mad at her, Mom. She really made some good points and... Mom! It's possible that Danny was the only minor at the parlor. We know that she was desperate for cash, and since Sean was the one in charge of the parlor, it's fair to say that he's the one who groomed her. And if Commissioner Pierce is right by saying how Sean doesn't like being pushed around by Wade, it makes me wonder if Wade even knew that Danny was working at the parlor to begin with. Don't come at me, nephew. Your grandma came to me. Liar. First off, don't call me nephew. That's what you are. Second, I'm more prone to believe my grandmother since she made a fool out of me and the entire family. It wasn't personal, Alan. How stupid do you think I am, Vivian? You encouraged me to try and prove my whole family wrong and stab me in the back. You're mad at me when your grandma here ain't even think you could run the family company? Okay, Alan. Don't let that bastard get inside your head. All you need to do is focus on defeating her. Lorenzo is still in shock that Vivian is his daughter and that he didn't know she existed for all those years. Yet he can't grapple with the fact that she schemed her way to the top. And you tried to scheme with her, Isidore, because she made me believe that my father's mental health was declining. I would have never lied like that, Isabel. Most of all, Vivian never once had a claim to Russo Jewelers. She should not be in the position she's in right now. I'm really glad to see that JJ is excited about having a little brother. And are you sure that you're not disappointed that I won't be having a little girl for you to adore, Vanessa? No, Mom. I'm not disappointed. It will be fun bossing around two boys. Wanda, what happened? What's wrong? Is it Yvette? How dare you have the gall and audacity to tell my child what she should do about her future? What is wrong with you? My mom is pregnant. So is Yvette. What? Because of your mother, my daughter is going to be a teen mom. A statistic. Vanessa, let Mrs. Michaud and I have some space to speak. I'm not leaving you alone with her. Vanessa, moi t'ai dit, allez. If you touch my mom again, moi pas jouer avec vous. Allez non. Did you only come here to slap me, Wanda? Or are you and I gonna have a civil conversation? How dare you have the gall and audacity to tell my child what she should do about her future? Because of your mother, my daughter is going to be a teen mom, a statistic. Vanessa, let Mrs. Mitchell and I have some space to speak. I'm not leaving you alone with her. Vanessa, moi te dis, allez. If you touch my mom again, moi pas jouer avec vous. Allez non. Did you only come here to slap me, Wanda? Or are you and I gonna have a civil conversation? You had no right, Shelley. You had no right to tell Yvette not to terminate the pregnancy. I didn't tell her to do anything, Wanda. She told me that she was pregnant, that she was going to terminate the pregnancy. All I did was urge her to do the right thing. The right thing? Shelley, the right thing would have been for you to keep your mouth shut when my teenage daughter told you she was pregnant and made up her mind about what to do about it. I know that you're upset with me, Wanda, and I understand that this is the last thing you wanted for Yvette, but she already fell pregnant. I couldn't stand by and let her make another mistake. The only other mistake Yvette made was telling you that she got pregnant. Who are you to judge whether the next step she was supposed to take would be a mistake? I'm a mother who knows that if your daughter terminated her pregnancy, then there would be no going back. And now there is no going back for Yvette. What you said to her had her shaken. How could you encourage my baby to watch videos of how a termination is performed? I never encouraged her to watch anything, but I did let her know that a termination was a disgusting, violent process that would end the life of her baby. Do you hear yourself, Shelley? It's not a baby. Don't try and call it a tumor or a parasite, please. I've given birth to 2 children already, and none of them have given me cancer or increased my risk of getting cancer. Most of all, I can't imagine life without them. The fetus can't attempt to speak. It can't think. It doesn't even know it exists. So when is the fetus a human being, Wanda? When the baby reaches a set amount of weeks in the womb? Once the baby's eyes are open, there are times when I hear that the baby becomes human at this stage or at that stage, or that it's a human but taking their life before they're born is a necessary evil. Don't you understand how inconsistent your worldview is? We know better. And the child that is growing inside of Yvette is a living human being. No matter whether you or Yvette wanted the baby or not, it doesn't make this child any less human or any less valuable. Since my daughter was so convinced by whatever you told her, she does want this baby. She's gonna raise a child? What do you expect her to do, Shelley? A girl who was born into a wealthy family giving up her baby for adoption? How does that look? I made it clear to Yvette that she didn't have to raise this baby no matter how much money she has. There's no shame in giving up a child for adoption if a mother feels incapable of raising the baby. But clearly you and Udell are willing to help Yvette raise this child. I understand that she never wanted Yvette to be a teen mom, but at least she knows that she has all of the resources available to her. And what if Yvette didn't have all of the resources available to her? What if she was a common girl from the South Side who didn't have the wealth, resources, and support that she was born with? Would you still have encouraged her to go ahead with the pregnancy? What if someone forced themselves on my child? Would you still have encouraged her, a girl who was about to turn 16, to endure 9 months of pregnancy? In a heartbeat. You're sick. No, Wanda, what's sick is thinking that it's okay to tear a baby apart limb by limb, to remove oxygen from the body and discard a living human being, made in God's image, as if the baby was a piece of trash, no matter what situation they were born into. Because at the end of the day, the baby is innocent, since he or she had nothing to do with how they were conceived. I get that you've got your beliefs, Shelley, and you've got every right to have those beliefs. But your beliefs don't get to determine whether my daughter should be punished for one mistake for the rest of her life. Your beliefs don't get to determine whether a young girl's life becomes more complicated because they don't have the proper resources to take care of a child. Did you not hear what I just said? Nobody has to take care of a child if they can't. There are plenty of resources out there that can help a struggling mother choose a couple looking to adopt if they don't want their baby to grow up in the foster care system, which is supposed to try and reunite families rather than try and place the child in another home permanently. I understand that kids are born into messed up, heartbreaking situations, but the solution isn't to violently end their life. What if something happens to the baby, Shelly? Have you ever thought of that? What if Yvette decides to carry the term and she finds out something is wrong? You want her to be traumatized for life? Wanda, we can't end a life because of how worried we might be that something could go wrong or even find out that something is going to go wrong. Many parents in this world have received horrific and devastating news about their unborn baby, but they didn't take matters into their own hands and end their child's life on their own terms. They treated their baby with dignity and love, enjoying the time they had with their child after the baby was born. My daughter is a teenager. She is a child. She's not built like the parents you described. Since she's younger, my daughter's life is more at risk carrying the baby to term. How could you ask her to stay pregnant when you as a mother know that giving birth is the closest thing to losing your life? What would you tell her if staying pregnant could put my daughter's life in danger? If you're referring to ectopic pregnancies, then treating that is nothing like taking the life of the baby. But if her life is in danger, then it would be wise to have an OBGYN who can keep a close eye and make sure that Yvette and the baby are good. Lord willing, that OBGYN would make the wisest choice to do their best to keep both Yvette and her child alive. Now, God forbid something happens to Yvette and her baby. Your grandbaby, a 40-year-old grandmother. What a blessing. And I get that different parents experience different circumstances, Shelly. But whether the baby is born healthy or not, Yvette will be 16 by the time the baby's born. She shouldn't have to be forced to grow up so fast because of one single thing she did. She's already been through enough. Her life, both of our children's lives, were almost taken because Keith Burke brought a gun to school and took the life of your daughter's best friend. A baby isn't something that God is punishing Yvette for. There is a difference between a punishment and a consequence. Keith acted like a demon that day and has to pay for what he did for the rest of his life. As for your daughter, she decided to sleep with some other boy and a baby came out of that. Keith and Yvette are the same age. And I know that you would want him to remain in prison for the crimes he committed for the rest of his life. Are you trying to get slapped again? I know you're not trying to compare what that psychopath did to a mistake my daughter made. The two acts are different. I get that you don't agree, but Yvette and Keith would have been comparable to the fact that they took the life of a valuable human soul. Yvette wouldn't have taken a life, Shelly. She was gonna have a simple procedure done. No, Wanda. Playing God and taking someone's life without their consent isn't simple. Praise God, Yvette didn't go through with it, and one day I'm sure you'll be relieved too. Excuse me? You think watching my daughter wake up all different hours in the night tending to a crying baby is gonna make me relieved? Possibly missing out on a prom because her baby got sick, or maybe getting late to school because her baby is becoming fussy? You were there that day, Wanda. You were there when Isabel Torres told the entire courtroom how she terminated her pregnancy all to save a marriage she later felt wasn't worth saving. Is that the sort of pain you would want to see your daughter endure in the next 30 years? Yvette's situation and Isabel's situation were completely different. Isabel was a grown woman married to the man who took my best friend's life. Granted, Isabel didn't know that she was married to a monster for all those years until we found out what Devante did. But Yvette isn't worried about keeping a man, Shelly. Her whole life is ahead of her, and now she has to worry about a life other than her own. And that life is her child's life, Wanda. Just because she's unmarried, young, and pregnant doesn't mean that her life is over. Again, she has you and Udell. You have the resources. You need to ensure that she could have a successful future while raising a child. Do you not understand how much privilege you have? Yvette definitely had more than Jeremiah and I had when I was pregnant with Vanessa. Look at what you and your family have now. A mansion, a husband who is growing his HVAC business into a whole franchise. Most of all, you two have each other. Yvette won't even tell me who got her pregnant, and I doubt it's anyone who wants to help her out. Clearly, whoever the guy is needs to step up and take care of his responsibility, Wanda. Yvette and her baby will have you and Adele, but that baby still needs a father. Except the baby wouldn't have to grow up fatherless if you hadn't convinced my daughter to carry it to term.
Yvette wouldn't have to be forced to wipe her child's tears in the future, wondering where its father is. Let me tell you something. Jeremiah and I come from families who were born in what is known to be the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Despite that, us Haitians are very strong, resilient people. Our parents and grandparents struggled in life and did the best they could to raise their kids, and some of those kids our grandparents had never even made it to adulthood. Our families endured hardship that you cannot even begin to imagine. Regardless, we are a people who take care of our own, and we will give our life for our kids. You don't think I would? You think that just because I was trying to encourage my daughter to get this termination, that I wouldn't give my life for her, my only child? That's not what I'm saying, Wanda. I know that you love Yvette with everything you've got. I get that you believe that you were doing the right thing in setting up the termination to make Yvette's life easier, but it would have been more harm than good. Now Yvette is gonna carry this baby to term. She will love her child and will do anything to make sure that her baby is well taken care of. It's only natural. How did you feel when you got pregnant with her, Wanda? Believe it or not, I was excited. Confidence Designs was getting off the ground. Udell was still in law school but agreed to do some work at Mitchell Law while his father was in charge. I was hoping it was a girl, and the moment I found out, I wanted everything to be absolutely perfect for my princess. I wish I could say the same, Wanda. I really do. Jeremiah was working in HVAC, but he was working hard to save up to start his business. I was a preschool teacher when I got pregnant with Vanessa. Don't get me wrong, the moment I fell pregnant, I fell in love. But I was terrified. I knew that my husband wanted to provide us with a better future and had this desire to prove his family wrong and show that he could successfully run a business of his own. I knew Jeremiah would stand by my side and that he would never resent our baby, but I had so many concerns about how I'd bring my child into the world. You've got a good man, Shelley. Clearly you two were able to figure it out because Jeremiah and I serve a good God. When I was a little girl and realized my need of a savior and understood that Jesus was the only one who could redeem my sinful soul, I had no idea how complicated and difficult life would get. But he's been faithful and always will be. Wanda, I'm praying for you and your family. I'll take your prayers, but I want you far away from me and my daughter. And if Yvette happens to give birth to a girl, don't you dare think that I would let my baby name her baby after you, Shelley. When I came here, I hoped that I would feel better. Instead, I feel just as hopeless as before. Happy New Year, Vanessa. Which means that Commissioner Pierce had a point when he told us that Sean might be more dangerous than we thought. And now I'm beginning to wonder if Sean was the one who took Danny's life. But he's been faithful and always will be. Wanda, I'm praying for you and your family. I'll take your prayers, but I want you far away from me and my daughter. And if Yvette happens to give birth to a girl, don't you dare think that I would let my baby name her baby after you, Shelley. Glad you were able to fit us into your busy schedule, Quinlan. Anything for Kimmy? What is it that you wanted to tell me that couldn't be said over the phone? It's about Danny. I get that she had a funeral, but I feel like she ain't got something that other kids with her situation got to have. What would that be? A vigil. What's going on, Vanessa? We've been distant, Max. And something happened that concerns me. So I want you to be honest. Honest about what? Did you cheat on me? Specifically with Yvette? Where did Vanessa head off to? And why do you seem so beaten down, Shelley? Poki sa Vanessa tewa contem wanda fape Shelley. Yvette, what are you doing here? Where's your mother and why aren't you two on your way to California? Because I changed my mind, Dad. I'm keeping the baby. What made you change your mind? That's a really great idea, Kimmy. Guess you and your mom want it televised? Danny's case is getting a lot of attention on social media. As long as her story is out there, then it will speed up the process of getting her justice. Just remember, baby, we'll do what we can, but don't forget that it ain't our job to find out who took Danny's life, and that the police gotta figure it out on their own. You can't be serious, Vanessa. What makes you think that I would even touch Yvette? After everything she put me through, please try not to get mad. Try not to get mad after you ask me such a ridiculous question? I really hope my reaction answers it for you. Okay, I believe you. The last thing I wanted to do was upset you, Max. But I needed to hear you say it in person. Did Yvette say something to you? Just forget about it. Forget about it? Vanessa, you just asked me if I once again slept with a girl who falsely accused me of forcing myself on her, which sent me into a deep depression. I deserve an answer. I just found out that Yvette, she's pregnant. Wanda hit you? It's okay. No, Shelly, it's not okay for Wanda or anyone to put their hands on you, especially when you're carrying our child. Upa di risoti kaila? I didn't. The two of us decided to talk things out. And what did you two have to discuss? You're gonna find this out eventually. Yvette's pregnant. Oh my goodness. She and JJ are about the same age. But what does it have to do with Wanda putting her hands on you? Yvette was about to terminate the pregnancy, Jeremiah. But I was able to get through to her when I ran into her at Ulysses' grave. Can someone explain this to me? What's the reason for this last-minute change? Thank Shelley Dorval. Please tell me that she didn't go to confront her mom. Wait a minute. What does Shelley have to do with any of this? She convinced your daughter to carry the baby to term, Udell. Now we're stuck, trying to figure out how to move forward knowing that our daughter is about to have a baby of her own. Everyone knows that the opinions are responsible for taking Danny's life, Mom. People don't got the proof, Kimmy, and the police are the only ones who need to prove it. Let's discuss all of this later. How about we focus on what matters? And that's the vigil. That will certainly encourage the police to work harder at catching the person who ended Danny's life. We can discuss the vigil more once we grab a table. Sounds good to me. I'd like for the three of us to enjoy our meals in peace, Jackie, which means that I need you to understand that I know exactly what I'm doing. How come you don't seem surprised, Max? It's sure not because I slept with her, and I've already apologized. It's just that it's possible for born-again Christians to fall sometimes. What about Yvette? She sure hasn't been saved. It didn't occur to you that it wouldn't be surprising that Yvette would get pregnant with her reputation? That's kind of harsh. What's harsh is that you assumed I got Yvette pregnant, when you know that I trusted in Jesus Christ alone to save me and turn my life around. I never wanted to think that you were going down the wrong path, Max. Again, the two of us aren't getting along. I needed to make sure that you didn't go ahead and turn to someone else. What have I done to make you question that I wouldn't be faithful to you, the girl who I love? And I thought you knew that, Vanessa. I thought you believed that. Yvette sleeps with a boy and wants to end the baby's life? She's rich. How come she wouldn't try and take care of her responsibility? Not that I agree with her trying to terminate the pregnancy, but she's a teenager, Papa. She was scared. Because she was scared, the world tells her that the best option is to have a termination. Except Wanda wasn't trying to hear it. Well, I'm glad that you stood firm and did the right thing, Shelley. I couldn't stop thinking about the points Wanda made, though. Jeremiah, there are so many girls and women out there in the world who fall pregnant and don't have the resources Yvette has. They feel hopeless. You can't save everyone, Shelley. Those women need to turn to God. I agree, but I like to help as many mothers as I can. Mrs. Dorval didn't force me to do anything, Mom. I had time to think it over. Are you sure, Yvette? I'm 100% sure, Dad. I know I'm making the right choice. Now that that's settled, I don't want you speaking to that woman ever again. But Mom, she did nothing wrong. That woman involved herself into something that didn't involve her. Yvette, are you sure that Mrs. Dorval didn't press you into anything? Yes. Mrs. Dorval and I had a simple conversation, that's it. Deciding to carry a baby to term is not a simple conversation. Life as you know it no longer exists, especially when the baby does come. Brandon tried taking your life, Quinlan. I don't want you to pull something that would cause a shootout at Danny's vigil. The last thing I want is to be Kimmy's human shield. It's not gonna come to that, Jackie. Let's make sure that we just discuss the vigil and how you're gonna make me and my baby look good on TV. And I love you too, Max. These days, I'm beginning to forget what we've been fighting about in the first place. Let me remind you, you're trying to mold me into the perfect guy instead of accepting the broken guy that I am. That's not true. But I am afraid that the guy you are now will tear us apart. I'm a Russo. I always will be. That's something you need to accept, Vanessa. If you can't, then you might just be right. We might not make it. I understand that I upset you with what I asked. So I'll give you some space and pray that you can chill out. If not, then I'm afraid that our relationship might not work. And I know that we'll both be heartbroken in the process. What are you trying to say, Shelly? God bless our family so much. I know God will want us to bless others. And how do you plan to do that? After Wanda left, I had this idea of building a house. What sort of house? A house that shelters, provides for, and educates expectant mothers who are in desperate need of help. Your mother's not wrong, Yvette. You're gonna face a lot of challenges for months to come, but we're both gonna help you every step of the way. I know that, Dad, but I need you both to understand that this was my decision, no one else's. My sister Val shouldn't be painted as the bad guy over the choice I made. What did you and Shelly say to one another? All you really need to know is that she doesn't regret being nosy and convincing Yvette to keep the baby. Our conversation really got nowhere. I'm so worried about Yvette. She has no idea what she's in store for. I'll tell you what's in store for her. Since you and I agreed to work things out in our marriage, Yvette's gonna have two parents who love her and who love each other. What hurts me the most is that you hid the fact that you were my daughter for almost an entire year. It breaks my heart that you thought I wouldn't welcome you into the family. If I told you who I was, Lorenzo, I wouldn't have the position I got today. Please leave my office. I know that, Dad, but I need you both to understand that this was my decision, no one else's. My sister Val shouldn't be painted as the bad guy over the choice I made. Brandon tried taking your life, Quinlan. I don't want you to pull something that would cause a shootout at Danny's vigil. The last thing I want is to be Kimmy's human shield. Don't let that bastard get inside your head. All you need to do is focus on defeating her. So how was it, Yvette? How was California? I'm waiting for you to send me those pics you promised. I ended up not going. What happened? I won't be able to hide it from you forever. So the sooner you know, the better. The sooner I know what? I'm pregnant, Dee Dee. Are you prepared for Danny's vigil later today? I sure am. I'm just annoyed that Jackie thinks I'm gonna be putting everyone in danger. I've gotta hand it to you, Pacho. I don't know how you're able to run two different companies. Work had me beat today, which is why I wanted to treat you to a meal. So just relax and forget all about work while you and I spend quality time together, Viv. Well, look what we have here. Why are you here, Lorenzo? Why wouldn't I be here? You and I haven't really had the chance to talk things over when you came back to town, Shirley. You're playing with me. I wish I was. You have no idea how much I wish this was a joke. Is this why you couldn't go to California? Your parents kept you from California as a punishment? Actually, I was going to California for the exact opposite. When I found out I was pregnant, it was too late to get a termination here in Florida. So my mom booked a flight for me to get a termination in California. But you're still pregnant though. You couldn't go through with it? I couldn't. What made you change your mind, Yvette? Your cousin convinced me to think long and hard about whether I could live the rest of my life with or without this baby. The opinions would be foolish to try and orchestrate an attack against you while you're surrounded by witnesses. I think so too, Ben. But Jackie has her concerns since Brandon tried coming after me. Brandon Pittman is no longer alive, Quinlan. And as long as I'm there, no one is going to succeed in harming you. Brandon is no longer living, but Sean Apina still is. He might not give up on ending my life if he did in fact hire Brandon to get the job done. Most of all, I've got to make sure that Jackie doesn't find out my theory that Sean was the person who took Danny's life. What you want, Gianni? I see my little sister out in public, and I decided to stop by and say hello. Little sister? You're giving me that title now? We've been living under the same roof since the beginning of the year, and this is the first time I've heard you acknowledge me as part of the family, because I've finally come to accept the fact that you are family and that you're running the family company. You sure about that? Yes, Vivian. I was gonna say this to you at the estate, but there is no better time like the present. You and I don't have to get along, but I'd like for us to find a truce. We said all we needed to say on Christmas. The two of us barely had the chance to say anything on Christmas. I never even got the chance to know how you've been doing after all these years. Lorenzo, as you can see, I don't got time to fill you in on 20 years of my life. Jesus is my savior, and I've got a daughter whose soul the Lord is reaching out to. My concern is knowing how she's doing living at the estate. Our daughter is doing just fine, Shirley. But of course she would have grown up staying at the estate if I had only known that she existed for all of these years. Oh no, she wouldn't have. 'Cause no child of mine would ever be alone where your wife was living at. When you say my cousin, you talking about Shelly? Yeah, I ran into her at Ulysses' grave. Wait a minute. Vanessa was the one who was friends with Ulyssa. Yvette, you told me that you and Ulyssa weren't really cool at all. Why were you at her grave? I'd rather not get into all of that. Are you at least gonna tell me who got you pregnant? No one has to know that Sean is our prime suspect, Quinlan. Exactly. But I just know that Jackie will try and test me while being overprotective for my mother's sake. I get that Jackie has been getting on your nerves lately, but she can't stop you from digging any further into Sean's involvement in Danny's passing. That doesn't mean she won't stop trying. A truce, Gianni? That's the best thing I can do since I can't change all that's happened. No, you can't change nothing. But I'm sure that you want to do something about it though. Yes, making sure that you and I can find some sort of common ground. Common ground? Your younger sister staged a hostile takeover of Russo Jewelers, and you actually think that you can fool her? I'm not trying to fool anyone. That's exactly what you're trying to do, Gianni. Clarice would have never harmed Vivian, Shirley. If I had any inkling that she would have, then I would have protected her. I wasn't about to take that chance, Lorenzo, which is why I left Valley Park in the first place and I was trying to stay gone. I'm certainly glad that you did come back. Don't start. I know you ain't missed me. All I was to you was a cook who you had a one-night stand with because of a moment of weakness. You're more than that, Shirley. Much more. You gave me another daughter. A daughter who's living. I just wish you would have trusted me enough to stay in town to work things out. Or at least try and reach me the moment Vivian was born so that I wouldn't have had to miss out on so much. Are you concerned about my daughter or your own hurt feelings? I'm not ready to share that either, Dee. Whoever got you pregnant, did you at least tell him? I didn't. You said it best, Yvette. He's gonna have to find out eventually. I'm not trying to burden the guy with a baby. Not burden him. Yvette, this guy came for your goods. And you ain't trying to get him to share the responsibility of raising a kid he helped make? My parents are gonna help me out. They're the only people me and this baby need. What do you think Jackie would try to do, Quinlan? I can't say for sure. All I remember is her trying to take her role as godmother seriously when I was growing up. Is that so? Then how come you were in and out of foster care? How come she didn't try and take Zeke in after your mom was thrown into prison? Since Jackie was my mom's closest friend, CPS didn't think that it was a good idea, especially when she didn't have children of her own at the time. Plus, I wasn't about to have her and my mother look down on me if Zeke were to be placed into foster care.
which was the last thing I wanted for him anyway. Are you sure that you're not trying to prove something to Jackie and your mom? Here's what I'm trying to prove to them, Ben. I'm gonna prove to them that I can overcome everything I endured. It just crushes me to know that Danny couldn't make it out like I did. I've got a long memory, Gianni. Did you expect me to forget how you were so opposed to the idea of Isidore taking over Russo Jewelers? He's the brother you grew up with. He's the brother you two share parents with. I know for sure that you ain't accept the fact that your father's illegitimate daughter is now your boss. That's right, and the family will make your life extremely difficult because of it. You're gonna need allies. Vivian's got all the help she needs. If you don't mind, I'd like to enjoy some quality time with the lady. And before you head out, Gianni, just worry about doing your job and make sure you don't do nothing that will get you fired. Watch your back, Vivian. I intend to. I don't understand what you mean, Shirley. Vivian was born into a complicated mess. Neither of us had any business sharing a bed together, especially when you had a wife. I understand that, but it doesn't erase the fact that our daughter came out of it. A daughter you made me clueless about throughout her entire life. You knew how much I was hurting after Elvira's life was taken. Why did you keep another daughter away from me? I know that Elvira's passing broke your heart, Lorenzo. The whole family was hurting. But the moment I got pregnant with her, protecting my baby was my priority. Even though Vivian is an adult, I intend to protect that girl from herself to the best of my ability. Is everything all right here? The two of us were catching up, Commissioner. That's all. You two have a great rest of your day. What was that about? Lorenzo just reminded me that the mess his family found himself in is not the future I want for Vivian. Watch your back, Vivian. I intend to. So the sooner you know, the better. The sooner I know what? I'm pregnant, Dee Dee. No one is going to succeed in harming you. Brandon is no longer living, but Sean Apina still is. He might not give up on ending my life if he did in fact hire Brandon to get the job done. Most of all, I've got to make sure that Jackie doesn't find out my theory that Sean was the person who took Danny's life. Harley Drake, what could I do for you? Am I being served with legal papers? No, I came here to let you know that you made an enemy out of me when you made a fool out of my son. What is it, Dee Dee? I just thought you should know that Yvette told me what she's been going through, Shelly, that she's pregnant. I'm glad that Yvette trusted you enough to tell you. She's gonna need as many friends as she could get. Did Yvette tell you who got her pregnant, Dee Dee? Did you hear about the vigil being held for Danny Clark? I thought you told me not to keep up with any updates regarding her case. Hopefully you've been doing exactly what I told you, and I want to make sure that you continue to do as I say, Sean. Danny was a really beautiful girl. And a beautiful soul. I'm really glad that a lot of people came by to show that they care even after the event was rained out the other day. I just wish Danny was around to know how many people would have cared about her situation if they only knew. What matters is that Danny's story will encourage more kids who are struggling like she did to speak up. How are you gonna hate me and you don't even know me that well? I've heard enough about you, Vivian. I have every right to be angry. If you only stop by to tell me how much you hate me, then I like to let you know that you could have just sent me hate mail instead of wasting my time. In case you're not aware, I know how it's like to be public enemy number one in the Russo's eyes. As for your actions, the Russos are the least of your worries. Listen to me and listen to me well, Harley. If a simple girl from Orlando can take over a huge company like this, then I'm more than capable of crushing any enemy that comes my way now that I'm running Russo Jewelers. Wait a minute. How do you know Yvette's pregnant, Vanessa? It was hard not to find out when Wanda Mitchell came storming in here, going off on my mom and slapping her across the face. Wanda Fapeu, chérie? I'm okay. I really admire her. Never in my life did I ever think she'd slap someone in my family. I was here, Dee Dee, saw it with my own eyes. But I'd like for you to answer my question. Did Yvette tell you who the father of her baby is? Nah, but why is that any of your business though? What are you so eager to tell me, Wade? Since the vigil is happening, I don't want you to do anything to interrupt it. But don't you think it would be the perfect chance for us to handle Quinlan Franklin for good? I think that would be the worst possible time to go after anyone, Sean. And if you decide to take matters into your own hands, there will be consequences. I'm surprised that Mr. Russo hasn't shown up. He's on his way, Commissioner. I'm eager to meet my godbaby's boyfriend too, Commissioner Pierce. It's so nice that y'all know each other. By the way, I love eating at your wife's diner. Thank you. I truly appreciate that. As for you, Kimmy, I'm impressed to see that you're the brains behind this entire event. Thank you, Commissioner. I just wanted to make sure that my best friend wouldn't be forgotten. Ben Russo in the flesh. It's nice to finally meet you. You stole Russo Jewelers from the Russos. I've known them long enough to know that they eventually set their differences aside and come together against outsiders. Me losing full custody of Alan is living proof of it. Except the Russos are bitter at each other since I ended up as CEO, Harley. Most of all, I am an outsider. Please! You've only been a Russo for like 3 minutes. You're not legitimate, and you never will be, Vivian. As for my son Alan, I married into the family when I had him. Stop trying to put your son on a pedestal when he's not even capable of running this company like I have so far. If he had the capability of taking over, then he'd be CEO instead of me. Alan is more than capable of running Russo Jewelers. Your son is nothing more than a spoiled screw-up. If you ended up getting full custody, then he would have been weaker than he is now. He sure didn't find the ability to become a boss being raised by the Russos. You're gonna regret that. Mom! Mom, knock it off! When we moved to Valley Park, Yvette had a specific reputation and all of a sudden she got pregnant. Are you saying that Yvette might not even know who the father of her baby is? That's not what I'm saying, Dee Dee. Figuring out who the father is should be the least of our worries at the moment. What we all need to focus on is that Yvette is younger than both of you and is carrying a child who she plans to raise. Her parents will help out, but it won't be easy. I get that, Mom, but I just don't want rumors running around once everyone finds out that Yvette is pregnant. What are you gonna do, Wade? Ground me? Take away my inheritance? I think locking you away in a dungeon where no one would find you would be a great idea. Except we don't have a dungeon. Besides, it's not like it would be such a bad idea setting up a drive-by at the vigil. It's being held in the south side. I bet people would just see it as a random attack instead of an attack from us. And that is exactly why I'm the head of this family, Sean. You're just too stupid to run an organization this big. It's nice to meet you, Kimmy. Nice to meet you as well, Jackie. Never in a million years did I ever think that a member of one of the richest families in Valley Park would ever step foot into the South Side. What you need to understand is that I'm not really like the rest of my family. I can sure see why Quinlan likes being with you other than all the money you got. Think you can set me up with that uncle of yours? Ew. Baby, where are you going? Did you stop by to try and see whether Quinlan would start trouble, Commissioner? Not at all, Mr. Russo. I came here to ensure Valley Park that I and the police department are taking Danny Clark's case seriously, and that the police will be the ones who will solve this case. I'm glad that there is a big group of people here. It just hurts knowing that Danny's own family is nowhere in sight.
You better get your mama out of my office and out of my building right now, Alan. Just keep your hands off my mom. If she don't get out of my sight in 5 seconds, I'm dragging her out myself. Come on, Mom. Let's go. What was that all about? That girl hit a nerve. I can't believe that your father's family and I have found a common enemy other than Devontae Torres. It makes me sick, knowing that she's sitting in a seat that you should be in someday. And I will, Mom. Nona and I are coming up with a plan to take Vivian out of the company. Not without me or not. We're the only people who know she's pregnant other than her parents. I ain't gonna say nothing till Yvette is ready to say something. So how would a rumor spread? We're not the only people who know. I told someone. Vanessa, you're the last person I ever thought would go around and tell someone about something like this. That's not how it happened, Dee Dee. Everyone, just take a deep breath. Who did you tell, Vanessa? Max. After I heard that Yvette got pregnant, I thought about how distant Max and I were, and like an idiot, I asked if he cheated on me with her. He got mad, and I ended up explaining that Yvette is pregnant. I'm not an idiot. With Ben Russo and Quinlan Franklin gone, the police and those bootleg social media detectives won't have the resources to prove that I had Danny working at the parlor. Just shut up, Sean. And you better not disobey me. Is everything set up? Good. You better not miss. Danny's mother has mental issues, and her younger brother is in foster care, Quinlan. And it's all thanks to Brandon. I've never been so thankful that Zeke's dad didn't destroy my family like Brandon destroyed Danny's. There were days when I really thought he would. What made you think that? Get down! Get down! Keep your hands off me, Owen. Alright, I won't touch you, but I'll be right here when you find yourself missing my touch. I miss being close to my husband, and I won't mess it up this time. I refuse to lose Udell. You're gonna regret that. Mom! Mom, knock it off! It makes me sick, knowing that she's sitting in a seat that you should be in someday. And I will, Mom. Nona and I are coming up with a plan to take Vivian out of the company. Not without me or not. What are you doing here, Harley? I suggest you lose that attitude, Clarice. I'm here to help Alan become the next Russo Jewelers CEO. How are you feeling, Yvette? I'm really nervous, Mom. When I found out I was pregnant, I was so eager not to be. Now that I'm keeping the baby, I'm worried about what the ultrasound will show. Everything's gonna be alright, baby. Are you alright, Quinlan? I'm fine, Ben. Ben, the commissioner. Commissioner Pierce? It's Ben. Can you hear me? Can you say something? What is it now, Wade? Why do you constantly continue to think that I'm a joke? Alan, why on earth did you involve your mother into this? Too much is at stake. Exactly, Clarice. I am Alan's mother, and I will not risk my son losing out on an opportunity to secure his future. Okay, Harley, enlighten me.
What plan did you come up with? Don't do that. Not when Alan hasn't explained that you haven't come up with a plan either. We're sharing ideas at this point, Mom. Well, you're gonna need an idea that will take Vivian off of the throne. Who was that? It's no one. I didn't realize that ghosts have phones now. What I meant was that it was no one important. Like a scam call? Miss Mitchell, we're ready for you now. Commissioner Pierce, can you hear me?
Oh.
Thank goodness. How are you feeling? My arm. I feel a lot of pain in my arm. I'm calling help for you right now. Quinlan. Are you okay? I was afraid that you being here would cause trouble, Quinlan. What are you talking about, Wade? I know that there was a drive-by. What drive-by? I had one of my men keep an eye on Danny Clark's vigil, and I just got word that there was a drive-by. I want the truth, Sean. Who did you hire? As I've mentioned before, Harley, if you have any ideas, then the floor is yours. First things first, there's no possible way to vote Vivian out as CEO since she is majority shareholder. I didn't tell you to state the obvious, which means it would also be too much of a risk to make Vivian seem incapable of running Russo Jewelers. We can't risk Vivian trying to take the company down with her. How's the baby? Is my baby okay? You've gotta be patient, Yvette. It takes a little while for the heartbeat to be found. Because the heart is too small right now? What if my baby's got some sort of heart condition? You hear that? It sounds to me like your baby's heart sounds just fine. Well, that's inside of me. My baby's heart is beating inside of me. It feels so real now that I get to hear it and stuff. It's definitely real, Yvette. I see it, but I still can't believe it. Chill out, Mom. We needed Quinlan here so that she could show Danny's vigil on her program later. Remember? That's right, Quinlan. How exactly do you plan to explain to your viewers what went down here? This is not the right time, Jackie. My baby could have lost her life and the commissioner just got hit. I think it's the perfect time. Start talking. I got in touch with a local gang and I asked them to try and take out Quinlan and Ben if he was at the vigil. Are they still alive? Not a scratch on them. This is the second time you hired failures, Sean. I knew you were lying to me about Brandon Pittman, except the gang actually did a better job. Except they got the wrong person. Who did they get? The police commissioner. I didn't even know Commissioner Pierce would even be there. Well, he was. And my man isn't sure if he's still alive or not. Why, Sean? Why exactly are you so bent on taking Ben and Quinlan's life? I already told you, Wade. I didn't want them finding out that I got Danny to work at the parlor, except I don't believe that's the reason though. I believe it was you who took Danny's life. It's beginning to sound like you're telling Alan and I what we can't do rather than what we can do. What we can do is pressure Vivian. She's young and it should be easy to stress her out to the point where she no longer wants to be CEO. But we need to play it smart if we're gonna convince her to choose Alan to be her successor. Are you still getting calls from that person, Mom? That's nothing you need to worry about, Yvette. Just wait in the car for me. Let me make something clear to you, Jackie. Quinlan is not to blame for what just happened. I ain't blaming her, Ben. It sure sounds like you are. This is the second time someone tried taking your life ever since you started looking into Danny's case. What's it gonna take for you to ensure the opinions that you'll stay out of their way? I told you that the last time I saw Danny was when she went off with a client. I know what you told me, Sean. It's crap and you know it. Tell me why you took Danny's life. Did she threaten to leave the parlor or did she threaten to tell someone and you didn't know how to handle it? I'm not letting you go until you give me an explanation and I want one right now. It was an accident. I didn't mean to take her life. One moment she was alive and the next moment, when she wasn't breathing, I freaked out so So I got a suitcase, stuffed her in it, and left her on the side of the road. What are you gonna do to me, Wade? You hear that? It sounds to me like your baby's heart sounds just fine. Well, that's inside of me. My baby's heart is beating inside of me. It feels so real now that I get to hear it and stuff. How are you feeling? My arm. I feel a lot of pain in my arm. How exactly do you plan to explain to your viewers what went down here? This is not the right time, Jackie. My baby could have lost her life and the commissioner just got hit. I think it's the perfect time. What are you still doing here, Zeke? You should be at school by now. I ain't going till I know for sure you ain't gonna do nothing that will make the opinions tick. Sorry you have to miss work at the diner. Did you forget that you're the one who gifted me with the diner? I'd like to repay you by staying by your side as you heal Isaac. What's going on, Yvette? Who did you talk to? Talk to who about what? The whole school knows that I'm pregnant, Dee Dee. I knew you'd be back. Don't get comfortable, Owen. Tell me why I shouldn't press charges against you for harassment. The opinions aren't gonna hurt me, Zeke. They keep trying though, Quinn. They tried twice, and third time's the charm. And those attempts on my life have failed. And the opinions are supposed to be savages. That's right. You think they won't stop till they actually end your life. How you feeling, Isaac? Not too bad, Vivian. I'm relieved that God allowed me to wake up this morning to see the family who I love. As for you, Miss CEO, I don't think the Russos will appreciate you taking this work break. They'll be good. I had to see you for myself. Just cause I run a billion-dollar company don't mean I'm gonna forget my family. As you can see, I'll live. Do you know who put you in here? Believe me, Yvette, I ain't tell anyone that you're pregnant. Then how did the whole school find out? I wish I knew, but you need to know that I'm telling you the truth. It doesn't make sense, Dee Dee. The only people who knew are you, my parents, and your cousin, Shelly. Vanessa knows too. How? Who did you tell about my pregnancy? Have you forgotten that I'm a prosecutor? I studied the law, Wanda, so I know what harassment is and isn't. So sending me a picture of your package, like you're a hormonal teenager in junior high school, doesn't count as harassment? You've seen it before, and I made it very clear to you that I don't want to see it again. This is the last thing I need with everything my family's facing at the moment. What's going on, Wanda? I understand that you're scared, Zeke, but I'm not gonna let the opinions intimidate me. Would you like me to put that quote on your gravestone? I'm not going anywhere. You can't make that promise, Gwen. Not when you keep making a powerful family angry. I've got everything under control. Explain it to me, Gwen. Why are you so obsessed with Danny Clark's case anyway? I don't want you worrying about that baby. Listen to your mother, Vivian. Let the police department get to the bottom of this. Was Ben there? I know that Quinlan is covering that girl's case on her show. He was. In fact, he made sure I was good the moment I was hit. It's cause that nephew of mine is genuine. It hurts knowing how much I ended up hurting him. What's going on here? The whole school found out that Yvette's pregnant. That's not even the worst part. What could be worse than that? People think that your boyfriend is the one who got me pregnant. Like I asked you before, Vanessa, who did you tell? I only told Max. But he wouldn't spread rumors about himself, Yvette. Not after the twisted history you two have. Why did you tell her, Dee Dee? Don't get upset with my cousin when it was your mother who spilled the beans when she stormed into my house and slapped my mother. What goes on in my home is none of your business. After everything you and I have been through, I feel like we can share everything, Wanda. Don't you understand that if you don't leave me alone, then you lose your chance at becoming district attorney this year? I also don't want to lose you, Wanda. You have no choice. What do you mean? Come on, at least let me try to see if I can help. There's nothing you can do to help, Owen. You can't rewind time and prevent my daughter from getting pregnant. I'm not obsessed with the case, Zeke, but you're willing to lose your life over it. I swear, you and Mom are more alike than you like to admit. What are you even talking about? You two try so hard to chase after the bag, and don't even want to make sure you stay in my life. Try not to place yourself in a casket while I'm gone. Maybe you should do the right thing and give Russo Jewelers back to the Russos. That way you and Ben can make peace. I'll try to make peace with my nephew, Mama. He just needs to understand that I did what I had to do. My mom didn't tell me that she hit your mom. I saw it with my own eyes, Yvette. I really feel bad that the school found out about your pregnancy, but I doubt Max had anything to do with it. Whoever told people, I just wish they respected me enough to tell everyone when I was ready. You two need to bring Yvette back here. Why does everyone think I knocked her up? I'm really sorry, Wanda. Keep your sympathies. Udell and I need to stay together because our daughter needs us more than ever. Yvette's keeping the baby. Believe me, that wasn't the plan until Shelley Dorval got involved. What do you mean? I don't want to get into it. Wanda, you don't have to go through this alone. I'm not Owen. My husband and I are going through this together. All right? Sounds like you're going through a lot. If you don't want me to help you get through this, maybe I can help you forget about it for a moment. The whole school knows that I'm pregnant, Dee Dee. I'll try to make peace with my nephew, Mama. He just needs to understand that I did what I had to do. You two need to bring Yvette back here. Why does everyone think I knocked her up? Why, Sean? Why exactly are you so bent on taking Ben and Quinlan's life? I already told you, Wade. I didn't want them finding out that I got Danny to work at the parlor, except I don't believe that's the reason, though. I believe it was you who took Danny's life. How is the police commissioner holding up? Isaac will live, Lorenzo. You know, Vivian, whatever you're going through at the moment, you don't have to worry about expressing your feelings to me. It was an accident. I didn't mean to take her life. One moment she was alive and the next moment, when she wasn't breathing, I freaked out, so I got a suitcase, stuffed her in it, and left her on the side of the road. What are you gonna do to me, Wade? When are you gonna give me my phone back, Wade? Just give Yvette time to herself, Max. Not until she explains why the whole world seems to think that I'm the one who got her pregnant. Did you hear the news? What news, Michelle? It's about Yvette Mitchell. She's pregnant, Z. Isaac's doing just fine, Lorenzo. I ain't in emotional distress. That man is still your stepfather, Vivian. I can imagine how worried you've been when you heard the news. What's your point? My point is that I'm your father, and I don't want you to shut me out. You do realize that if you end up in prison, you won't ever have access to your phone again, right? If I end up in prison, then the feds will go after you too. Just because you're an idiot doesn't make me one, Sean. Your tiny brain cells is the reason why I'm holding on to your phone in the first place. What you've done with the device has caused trouble for this family. Am I ever getting it back? That depends on if I can ever trust you again. What matters is that you know the truth, Max. And the truth is that you didn't get Yvette pregnant. All you need to do is let people know that. I shouldn't have to explain myself, Vanessa. I've worked too hard to grow as a person after I got saved. Did you have something to do with this, Dee Dee? Don't point the finger at me. My cousin has nothing to do with this, Max. What about your brother? I wouldn't take anyone's word for it, Nichelle. This has got to be a rumor. After all the boys she hooked up with? I doubt it. But Yvette's always been careful. I don't know if I should be relieved to hear that or be upset that she reminded me you hooked up with her in the past, Zeke. All I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't jump to any conclusions. Not till Yvette says something. Why does it feel like you're coming to Yvette's defense? Here's the thing, Lorenzo. Whenever I needed to be comforted, my mama was there to wipe my tears. You might be my father, but that don't mean you and I need to be vulnerable with each other. And you don't see anything wrong with this scenario? My very existence shows how our connection as father and daughter is pretty messed up. Despite that, Isaac loved me as if I was his own. Sounds like I'm never getting my phone back. What makes you think I won't buy my own phone? Because I'm in charge of the funds you receive, Sean, and I don't think you want to lose those funds. Most of all, do you not understand the damage you caused? You took a life, the life of a teenage girl. Worst of all, her passing drew national attention. If I knew that Danny's case would get this much coverage, then I would have done my best to keep her alive, Wade. Like I told you, it was an accident. And you should have come to me the moment her life was gone. I took the proper precautions. None of my DNA was found on her or the suitcase. Do you not understand that the police can come after you because of motive? We can't just pin her passing on anyone else. Maybe a client? Anything to get my phone back. If I give you your phone back, Sean, then I'm kicking you out and you can live with Mom. Why are you guys looking at me like I robbed a bank? Did you have something to do with everyone finding out that Yvette's pregnant? Hold on, Max. JJ wouldn't just spread rumors. He didn't even know that Yvette got pregnant. Yes, I did. What? How? Heard you, Mom, and Dee Dee talking about it. And you just assumed that I'm the one who got her pregnant? No. Vanessa's the one who assumed you got her pregnant. Let me guess, JJ. You told someone. I didn't think it was gonna spread like it did. Either you're a lying douchebag or just plain stupid. I didn't get Yvette pregnant, so you should have just kept your mouth shut. Since you didn't, you're gonna clean up the mess you made. I'm not doing anything. Everyone, just chill out. Max, I'll speak with my brother. What's worse, Vanessa, is that this could have been avoided if you hadn't lost your trust in me. What in the world is wrong with you, JJ? I ain't trying to defend Yvette. I'm just telling you not to believe everything you hear. Yvette sure hasn't denied anything, especially after hearing who got her pregnant. Who would that be? Max Russo. You see? I don't believe that for a second. Ain't he a Christian now? On top of that, he's still with Vanessa. And Vanessa's the type of girl who wants to keep herself pure for marriage. Can't say the same for that cousin of hers, though. Yvette could have taken advantage of that. We both know how persuasive that girl can be. I understand that Commissioner Pierce was a father figure to you, Vivian, and I commend him for that. But I never knew you were even alive. I would have accepted you as my own immediately. You spent my entire life not knowing that I existed, Lorenzo. I made it just fine without my father's hugs and kisses. Now that I'm a grown woman, I'll be just fine without it. You can leave now. You wanted Mom to enjoy her golden years, remember? And I'm supposed to be running this organization, but you keep getting in my way, Sean. I refuse to let you cause any more problems for me. Don't you see that you're treating me worse than our younger brother? Probably because Lucas knows how to behave and keep himself out of trouble. Most of all, Lucas hasn't taken a young girl's life, leaving me to clean up the mess. Do I have to explain myself again? It's not like I broadcasted the news. You told some other person who told someone else. It wasn't your place to say anything, as if people weren't gonna find out eventually. But it was up to Yvette to make it known, not you or anyone else, JJ. I'm so ashamed of you. Yvette. Leave me alone, Zeke. Not till you tell me the truth. The truth about what? Why are you even here? I was actually about to call you to meet me here. I heard you're pregnant. What's it to you?
Is it mine, Yvette? Explain it to me, Gwen. Why are you so obsessed with Danny Clark's case anyway? Come on, at least let me try to see if I can help. There's nothing you can do to help, Owen. You can't rewind time and prevent my daughter from getting pregnant. I made it just fine without my father's hugs and kisses. Now that I'm a grown woman, I'll be just fine without it. You can leave now. Yvette. Leave me alone, Zeke. Not till you tell me the truth. The truth about what? Why are you even here? I was actually about to call you to meet me here. I heard you're pregnant. What's it to you? Is it mine, Yvette? What can I do for you, Owen? I actually came here to update you, Mr. Torres. Update me about what? The Durvals are more of a threat than I originally thought. Essador? I sure never expected you to show up to my diner. Surprise. I don't think you're here to get what's on the menu. So what do you want? I'd like to know what you can tell me about my new little sister, Shirley. Why would you ask if you're the father? You know why. How far along are you? That's none of your business, Zeke. It is, if you're carrying my baby. What are you doing here, Ben? You know I'm getting ready to head to the studio soon. I won't be here for long. I just came to see how you are holding up, Quinlan. I'm fine. I heard you, but your body language tells me something different. What do you mean? The Durvals are a family who take their faith seriously, way too seriously. And one of those beliefs is refusing to believe that a woman has the right to choose. What's your point, Owen? They're endorsing D.A. Russo. I get that you two are campaigning against each other, but it's for district attorney, not for governor. I'm trying to explain to you that we could take advantage of the issue, Mr. Torres. Since D.A. Russo is being endorsed by the Durvals, she's allowing herself to be endorsed by people who feel like women should be convicted for having the right to choose what to do with their own bodies. Vivian lives at your family estate, remember? If you want to know more about my daughter, then ask her yourself. Except I can barely get a word in since she's been distant. Worst of all, she makes herself feel so important since she's CEO. Vivian wouldn't have been CEO if he didn't hire her at Russo Jewelers to begin with. You and I know how impressive Vivian's work ethic is, Shirley. That's why I hired her. Was she always like that growing up? You and I wore protection, remember? Except protection don't always work, Yvette. Was Black Friday one of those times? Look, we both know Black Friday was a mistake. I need to know if we made an even bigger mistake. Zeke, if you're trying to ask me if I'm gonna terminate, the answer is no. I'm keeping the baby and I'm raising the baby. All I'm trying to figure out is if I'm the one who got you pregnant. Alright, Zeke and I, we had a small disagreement before he left for school. About what? He has it in his head that I'm obsessed with Danny Clark's case. And you don't see where he's coming from, Quinlan? You've been bent on getting justice for her the moment you heard about her case. Most of all, she was a kid, Ben. Her life was brutally taken. I'm not running around in circles about this anymore. Then let's not run in circles. We both know you're personally connected to this case, and I want to know why. The real reason this time. Heidi cheated on her husband with Finnegan Burke, remember? I doubt Valley Park thinks she'd try and convict females who travel to another state to get a termination when it's too late to get one in this state. I get that the Russos and Durvals have different beliefs, but they share one thing. What is that? They both have more conservative views. I believe I can win this election by reaching moderates. Why do you even want to know Essador? Like I told you, Vivian is my younger sister and I didn't get to know her growing up. I remember what you were like when I worked for your family all those years ago. I doubt you're asking me about Vivian out of the kindness of your heart. You haven't worked for my family for over 20 years, Shirley. A lot has changed. I'm sure it has. Just like I'm sure that you're still the power-hungry business mogul I knew long ago, and I ain't gonna let you devour my baby in the process. There's nothing you have to worry about, Zeke. You're not the one who got me pregnant. You sure? I thought you'd be relieved. Most guys would just take my word for it and move on, unless you want to be a dad and explain all of that to Nichelle. That ain't what I want, Yvette. Then just accept it, Zeke. This baby has nothing to do with you. Who's the father then? I told you everything you needed to know, Ben. I don't think you have. Sounds like that's your problem. Back at the vigil, you told me how Zeke's father almost destroyed your family. What did you mean by that, Quinlan? You've got my full attention. That might actually work, Owen. It will work. But something seems odd about all of this. What do you mean? Why do you seem more angry with the Dorvals rather than with Heidi? Yvette's keeping the baby? Believe me, that wasn't the plan until Shelley Dorval got involved. I'm not angry with the Dorvals at all, Mr. Torres. Wait a minute. I remember that you didn't seem to enjoy the fact that your daughter took over Russo Jewelers on Christmas. That's right, but I also don't want to see her get hurt either. I'm praying that God can convict Vivian to hand the company over. I don't doubt that God can answer my prayer. You certainly weren't thinking much about God when you laid with my father. If you think I'm gonna allow the enemy to remind me of the sins Jesus already paid for on the cross and forgave me for, then you're sadly mistaken. Get out, Essador. Just to be clear, Max hasn't touched me since I ruined his life the last school year. I wasn't about to ruin his life again. Then who got you pregnant, Yvette? Why do you need to know? 'Cause I don't think you should deal with all this by yourself. I'm not alone, Zeke. My parents promised to support me, so the guy doesn't need to get involved. Just so you know, my dad left me when I was a kid. My mom wasn't trying to leave me, but she's in prison now 'cause she couldn't handle her emotions. When you think about that baby growing up without a dad, think of how my life turned out. Good luck, Yvette. I already explained to you that Zeke's father wasn't a good man. I get that he's a deadbeat. But what did he do to you, Quinlan? He was a con man who involved my mother into his schemes. I'm supposed to be fond of a guy like that? That's not what I said. But I want to know what he did to you personally. Something that drove you to have this much compassion for Danny Clark's situation. Is that so wrong, Ben? Of course not. Look, Quinlan, you're the woman I love because I love you. I don't want you to suffer in silence. Whatever happened, I promise to still stand by your side. Most of all, I need you to know that I'm always going to protect you. You have my full trust now. It's only fair that I have your full trust too. His name was Virgil, okay? He was a con man, a deadbeat, a selfish man who would get whatever he wanted, even if he had to go through great lengths to get it. Worst of all, he wanted me. What do you mean he wanted you, Quinlan? That monster, when I was growing up, that monster would force himself on me. How far along are you? That's none of your business, Zeke. It is, if you're carrying my baby. I remember what you were like when I worked for your family all those years ago. I doubt you're asking me about Vivian out of the kindness of your heart. You haven't worked for my family for over 20 years, surely. A lot has changed. I'm sure it has. Just like I'm sure that you're still the power-hungry business mogul I knew long ago. And I ain't gonna let you devour my baby in the process. What do you mean he wanted you, Quinlan? That monster, when I was growing up, that monster would force himself on me. Quinlan, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Can't say that I blame you, Ben. What Virgil did to me growing up, it's unspeakable. I'm so sorry. What's going on with you guys this time?
Are you gonna tell them, JJ? It's not like running your mouth is something that's new to you. Because if I say something, just don't accuse me of being a snitch. We asked for an answer, and we want one now. Here's the thing, Shelly. Everyone at school knows that Yvette is pregnant. Except Vanessa and I didn't go around telling other people about it. What's the long face for, Yvette? I might as well give you two a heads up since the whole town is gonna find out. Find out about what? The whole school found out that I'm pregnant. Hey, Mama. Hi, baby. Did Isidore approach you about something lately? Approach me about what? I'm only asking because he stopped by the diner today. It's all in the past now, and what matters is that Virgil is out of my life and out of Zeke's life. I understand that he's not hurting you anymore, but something like this isn't something you just leave in the past, Quinlan. It sticks with you forever. I really wish it didn't. And Zeke doesn't know what sort of man his father is. Zeke's aware that his father was a con man, but he never knew what Virgil did to me. Virgil has hurt Zeke enough by barely being a father. I don't want my brother to go through any more pain, but Virgil shouldn't be allowed to roam the streets. What Virgil did to me, it was years ago, Ben. How am I gonna gather any evidence to put him in prison? I can't believe what I'm hearing. Jeremiah Dorval Jr., how could you? Why would you do something like that to another person? Vanessa? Dee? Why did you even tell JJ about Yvette? We didn't. Yeah, Dad. JJ was just being nosy and told the first person who would listen. Worst of all, he allowed people to think it was Max who got Yvette pregnant. Guess that was his last desperate attempt to break up me and Max, and I'm afraid that it might have worked. What? How did this happen? I'm not sure who spread it, Dad, but no one else would have known if Mom hadn't confronted Mrs. Dorval after I decided to keep the baby. What is Yvette trying to say, Wanda? Vanessa told me that she was in the room when Mom ran into the Dorval estate and ran her mouth after she slapped Mrs. Dorval. What did Isidore speak with you about? He claimed he wanted to know what you were like growing up. That's weird. I doubt he even cares what I was like when I was a kid. I don't know what Isidore is up to, but if you don't give up the power you got at Russo Jewelers, that will bring you nothing but trouble in your life. You don't know what could happen after you press charges, Quinlan. It's worth it. I'm not taking that risk. I'm living my dream, Ben. The last thing I want is to reveal to the entire world what Virgil did to me growing up. If you don't mind me asking, how long did Virgil? Not long after he met my mother, which was when I was 9 years old, and he stopped when I started going into high school. My mom sure wasn't paying attention, and Zeke would have been old enough to notice some things. Do you know why Virgil ended up leaving Zeke and your mother? JJ, I want you to explain yourself to me right now. It's not like I was gossiping, Mom. It's true, Yvette's gonna have a baby. And now people falsely believe that Max is the baby's father. Exactly. JJ, your actions allowed the school to play whisper down the lane, which allowed people to believe a lie. It was not your place to say anything. Now Yvette has to suffer the consequences, and so do you. You hit Shelly in her own house, Wanda? Do you not understand how much trouble you could have gotten yourself into? This isn't the time to be irrational. Can you blame me, Udell? She got involved into something that only involved our family. I was angry. And you blurted out that I was pregnant in front of Vanessa. Baby, I'm sorry. I really do wish I could have handled things differently. You can't, Mom. The damage has been done. Vanessa asked Max if he's the father, and now people are wondering if he got me pregnant. Did Max Russo get you pregnant, Yvette? I'm gonna be fine, Mama. Vivian, you are only 20 years old. Isidore is not the only enemy you have to worry about. I ain't gonna let my youth be my weakness. Like you said, I got all the power being CEO. That doesn't make you invincible. I really don't know why Virgil left, and I really don't care. Knowing that he was out of Zeke's life was a relief. The last thing I wanted for Zeke was him believing that it was okay to hurt people weaker than him. Is that why you're so bent on getting justice for Danny Clark? Virgil's not in prison, but whoever hurt Danny could pay for their crimes? Danny didn't survive like I did, Ben. I can't let her lose her life in vain. I can't believe it. Believe it. Luckily, you're still walking on a cane, or else I'd have you ingenue like we did when you were younger. We want your phone, and the first chance you get, you apologize to Yvette. You need to understand that you made things more complicated for the Mitchells. Max didn't get me pregnant, Dad. Then who did? It doesn't matter. The father already heard that I'm pregnant, so he clearly doesn't care to get involved. You didn't have to make things worse than they already are, Wanda. Bye, Mama. My mama tells me that you paid her a visit, Isidore, which means she told you that I was trying to find out how you were like growing up. Why do you want to know? On top of that, why didn't you ask me? You're CEO, Vivian, remember? I didn't think you had any time. What I don't got time for are your schemes. Cause it's gonna backfire on you now that I'm in charge. And try coming after my mama to get to me, you'll live to regret it. Is that why you're so bent on getting justice for Danny Clark? Virgil's not in prison, but whoever hurt Danny could pay for their crimes? Danny didn't survive like I did, Ben. I can't let her lose her life in vain. What I don't got time for are your schemes. Cause it's gonna backfire on you now that I'm in charge. And try coming after my mama to get to me, you'll live to regret it. JJ, your actions allowed the school to play Whisper Down the Lane, which allowed people to believe a lie. It was not your place to say anything. Now Yvette has to suffer the consequences, and so do you. What do you want, JJ? I'm here to apologize. Apologize for what? Everyone in school finding out that you're pregnant. That might have started with me. Why did Isidore speak with your mother, Vivian? That's what I asked him too. He told me that he wanted to know what I was like growing up. Knowing Isidore, he's not trying to get that information to try and be a good big brother. I really don't remember Shirley being so complicated. Never thought I'd miss the days when that woman actually did what I asked her to do. First of all, Isidore, Shirley no longer works for you. On top of that, Vivian is her daughter. If she feels like telling you about Vivian's childhood will keep Vivian safe, then that's exactly what Shirley will do. Shirley can try and protect Vivian all she wants. She won't be able to protect Vivian from me forever. How are you feeling, Commissioner Pierce? My arm feels a bit better after the bullet was removed. Where's Quinlan? Why did you ask us to meet you here, Commissioner? Sean Pena took things too far, came after me and almost hurt innocent people. I'm ready to put him away for good, and I know exactly how to do it. What do you mean people found out about my pregnancy because of you, JJ? I heard my mom speaking with Vanessa and Dee Dee. Once I heard, I called someone and told them what I knew. I didn't think things would get as far as they did. What do you mean you didn't think any of this would happen? Guess you're the reason why people think Max was the one who got me pregnant, huh? I only explained that Vanessa was worried that Max got you pregnant, Yvette. Excuse me. But I don't recall you clearing things up when the whole school had something to say about it. Now the whole town knows I'm gonna have a baby. It's obvious that Isidore is up to something. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how he thinks he'll be able to take Russo Jewelers away from me by learning about my past. Maybe he's trying to figure out what makes you tick. It sure ain't gonna change the fact that I'm the majority shareholder. But Isidore thinks he could use something in your past that will force you to give the Russos their full shares back. What if you can't find anything to blackmail Vivian with? Then it only means I'll have to play the waiting game, Isabel. I just need to keep a close eye on her and wait for her to slip up. She never had this much money and power in her life. It's bound to happen. Do you honestly believe that Vivian would let you get close to her at all, Isidore? So you believe that Sean was the one behind the drive-by at Danny's vigil? I'm not only positive of that, but it proves that he's desperate to take your life, Quinlan. He doesn't want you to find something out, which means he's at a fragile position at the moment. What plan did you come up with? I figured out the perfect way to make Sean Apina fall into a trap. I already told you that I'm sorry, Yvette. I doubt it. Why would you be sorry when you got exactly what you wanted? Hope you're happy, JJ. Don't go doing backflips yet. I'm going crazy since my parents have my phone. And that's why you've got your sorry excuse of an apology. Your parents forced you to say sorry. I can't believe it. Can't believe what? I knew that you couldn't stand being in the same room as me, but I never thought you hated me that much. You're saying that Isidore is trying to blackmail me? Blackmail is exactly what he tried to pull to get what he wants. He'd only be wasting his time cause he ain't gonna find nothing. Guess you were an angel when you were growing up, Vivian. Or maybe you just knew how to keep your bad deeds hidden. What I never did was break any laws, Pacho. Even if Isidore found something on me, I'm taking Russo Jewelers down with me. I still work with her, and Vivian is taking up space at the estate. That gives me an advantage. Are you saying that she'll bug her room in her office? Like I told you before, Isabel, I'm just gonna have to play the waiting game. If Vivian found a bug, then I'll never be able to take her down. You don't think Vivian will notice that you're up to something if you suddenly start acting nice towards her? How exactly do you plan to trap him? We're all certain that Sean groomed Danny Clark, which means that he'd be willing to groom another teenage girl. But the whole nation seems to have their eye on the Apina family. If Wade senses that Sean will try and groom another teenager, then this plan will fall flat. Unless someone poses as a teen girl so desperate for money, promising that she'll make Wade believe that she's 18. That's perfect. If Sean is caught texting a minor to work at the parlor, then it's game over. I'm still not sure about all of this. The Apinas know that all eyes are on them. Sean might figure out that this is a trap. Sean is irrational, Ben. There's not much going on for him in that head of his. Once he believes that he could traffic another girl, he'll take the opportunity, thinking that he's outsmarting his older brother. I don't hate you, Yvette. How stupid do you think I am? Who am I kidding? I'm dumb enough to get pregnant, so you must think I'm really dumb. But I decided to leave you alone, JJ. After you wished that Kiev was the one who took my life instead of Ulysses, I decided to leave you alone, but I guess you've been plotting to ruin my life ever since. Stop overthinking things. You know that I'm gonna have to sacrifice the plans I made to provide a good life for my baby. My life isn't gonna be the same. So cheer up, JJ. You won. Now leave me alone. Yvette, I really didn't mean to make your life any more difficult than it already is. Just keep my name out of your mouth, JJ, and stay away from me. Russo Jewelers is your livelihood. Are you seriously willing to see it burn? I worked too hard to gain that company, and I won't stand to lose it, Pacho. Again, Isidore ain't gonna find nothing on me. Besides, even if he did, I got a handsome, caring, and most of all rich, loving man to take care of me. You've got that right. I just need to slowly be cordial towards her and eventually make her believe that she's defeated me. Don't you realize that you're doing all of this scheming when Vivian wronged your entire family? Usually you'd all gang up together against outsiders. Except my father doesn't consider his bastard to be an outsider, Isabel. Not only that, but my own family tried working with her to screw me over, so they'll have to pay the consequences since they helped Vivian become CEO. Ben, I really think this could work. As long as we do everything right, we can finally get justice for Danny. Not only will we get justice for her, but this will be the open door we need to get justice for all those who are victimized by the Apina family. Everyone, just chill out. Max, I'll speak with my brother. What's worse, Vanessa, is that this could have been avoided if you hadn't lost your trust in me. Why do you seem more angry with the Dorvals rather than with Heidi? Yvette's keeping the baby.
Believe me, that wasn't the plan until Shelley Dorval got involved. I'm not angry with the Dorvals at all, Mr. Torres. Ben, I really think this could work. As long as we do everything right, we can finally get justice for Danny. Not only will we get justice for her, but this will be the open door we need to get justice for all those who are victimized by the Apina family. I thought we were supposed to avoid one another in the building while we're running against each other, D.A. Russo. Explain this to me, Owen, because I'm really curious. What do you plan to accomplish by painting me as some pro-life extremist? Why are you here, Shelley? I just came by to apologize for JJ's part in everyone finding out that Yvette's pregnant. What's going on, Vanessa? That's all you have to say to me, Max? I'm still your girlfriend. At least, I think I still am. What is it you needed to tell me? I wanted to let you know how sorry I am for my part in the pain you're going through with people believing that you got Yvette pregnant. Did you already create the fake account, Ben? I did. What about the texts? Have you sent them? You're being endorsed by the Dorvals, who happen to be a pro-life family. Here's the thing, Owen. As long as I've been district attorney, and as long as I will be, I'm not involving myself in an extremely personal issue. Again, the Dorvals are supporting you. That means a lot of people will be supporting you who believe that the law should involve itself into a personal issue, such as a woman deciding to terminate her pregnancy. Your son is the reason why the whole town knows that my daughter's about to be a teen mom? Yvette didn't tell you? JJ made it clear to me that he apologized. Yvette didn't tell me anything, and I can't blame her, Shelley. And let's say that your son did offer my child an apology. Do you think he was being genuine? It sounds like he's only sorry because you told him to be. I wanted JJ to know that what he did was absolutely wrong, and he's been punished for it. But his consequences are only temporary, right? Funny how your son only faces a temporary consequence, while you made sure my daughter faces her consequences for the rest of her life. Thankfully, things are getting better since I've been clearing up the rumors. I even heard that Yvette was clearing them up too. JJ has been letting people know that you're not the father of Yvette's baby as well. He should have kept his mouth shut in the first place, Vanessa. I know that, Max. But what matters is that people are accepting the truth. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how I felt, like I was reliving the torture Yvette put me through the last school year. I was just about to send out the text. Without me, I wanted to make sure you wouldn't go through any heartache, since the profile poses as a girl who'll be harmed. I don't want you reliving what Virgil put you through. It's a fake profile, Ben. I get that. But this is a real-life situation. Danny's life being taken is what led us here, Gwendolyn. My campaign's main focus is to remind people that I've done a good job as DA, and that I'll continue to do so, since my main priority is to make sure that all of Valley Park feels safe. Have you disavowed the Dorvals after the ad was put out? Despite their beliefs, they're still a respectable family, Owen. On top of that, their daughter is still dating my son. Which brings me to my next question. Since Max is dating Vanessa Dorval, do you think he's part of the generation that's leaning this nation into conservatism? My hope is that what JJ has done is something that he'll regret for the rest of his life, Wanda. Bottom line is that we wouldn't even be having this conversation if you hadn't convinced my daughter to remain pregnant. I'm here for one reason, okay? I wanted you to know that I'm holding JJ accountable for making an even bigger mess. You don't have to forgive me, but I truly am sorry for his actions. That's wonderful, Shelley, because I don't forgive you, and I never will. Of course I care, Max. That's why I'm right in front of you, trying to see how you've been holding up. As you can see, I'm still in a pretty miserable mood. You've been miserable for quite a while. Thank your brother, Vanessa. Here's the thing. It doesn't seem like JJ will keep trying to interfere in our relationship. This can be the perfect opportunity to work through our issues. Do you really want to work through our issues? Or are you trying to work through them the way that you see fit? We are most likely one step away from getting Danny justice, Ben. I've been waiting for this day for months. That's already clear to me, Quinlan. But it doesn't mean you have to get involved in such a complex text. We need to make sure we get this right. It wouldn't hurt if we put our heads together. Don't shut me out. All right, we can figure out what to message Sean together. But you let me know if this gets too much for you. Watch yourself when you mention my son Owen. You came after Max before, and you'd be a fool to think that I'll stand here and let you come after him again. Don't think that I won't remind this town how you came after an innocent teenager. And Valley Park should be reminded that you are trying to prosecute another teenager to the fullest extent of the law over one mistake. Yvette almost putting my son in prison and driving him to the point where he attempted to take his own life is not a simple mistake. I know what you're trying to do. Yes, win the election. You want to tear this town apart and watch it burn just so you can take my place. I refuse to stand by and let it happen. You don't forgive me. Fine, Wanda. Hopefully someday we can find a way to live peacefully. I doubt it. Now leave my office. We haven't broken up, Max. The two of us can still talk things out. We've already done enough talking. And whenever we do, the two of us end up in a fight. That doesn't have to be the case, not this time. I agree, Vanessa, but we can't promise that we won't end up having another argument. Where do we go from here then? Continue to be distant? I don't want to. I really don't. But having space between us is the thing we need. Don't you think we've already had enough space? We're two different people. I still need time to think things through, even if you feel ready to have a serious conversation. I'll see you later, Vanessa. Are you sure this is the right way to approach Sean? I'm positive, Ben. Send it. Done. Now we wait. Sean, what have you done? We are most likely one step away from getting Danny justice, Ben. I've been waiting for this day for months. Send it. Done. Now we wait. Sean, what have you done? I know what you're trying to do. Yes, win the election. You want to tear this town apart and watch it burn just so you can take my place. I refuse to stand by and let it happen. Even if Isidore found something on me, I'm taking Russo Jewelers down with me. Yvette, I really didn't mean to make your life any more difficult than it already is. Just keep my name out of your mouth, JJ, and stay away from me. JJ told me how he admitted that the rumors came from him and that he apologized. We both know your cousin's apology wasn't genuine, Dee Dee. What JJ did was foul, Yvette, but he's just acting out after the way Keith hurt him, the same way Keith hurt Alia. Glad I ran into you, Yvette. Are you ready to share who actually got you pregnant? What do you need to talk with us about, Heidi? I'm sure that you're both aware of the recent smear campaign made against me. We're aware, but we weren't too bothered by it, though. Well, I was bothered by it, Shelley. What is it now, Vivian? I need you to speak with your sons. Speak with them about what? Tell Isidore and Gianni to stay away from my mama, Clarice. Are you ready to hand me back my phone now, Wade? I want the truth. The full truth. The full truth about what? Tell me how Danny Clark
really lost her life, Sean. Hold up, Max. The only reason why Yvette agreed to hang out with me in public is because I'm trying to help her get through the tough week she had. And we all know that I had a tough week too, Dee. So I'd like to know the truth since lies are spread about me. I already cleared up the rumors, made a whole post online and everything. But you still didn't share the whole truth, Yvette. I deserve to know who got you pregnant since people initially thought I knocked you up. What exactly concerns you? Here's the thing, Jeremiah. Owen tried to paint me as being as pro-life as you and as pro-life as my mother-in-law, which isn't the case. I'll have to respond to the claims he made. That's all. I need to know if you two plan to make any public statements about the issue as well. That way I can come up with a perfect strategy. We don't plan to make a public statement, Heidi, but I do plan on performing public actions. What does that mean? I'm planning to start funding for a house which will help struggling mothers. Wonderful, but Shelley, can you please just wait until after the election? What are you talking about, Vivian? And how dare you try and make demands in my home? Girl, your name ain't on the deed. I thought we already established that. And if you must know, Isidore decided to approach my mother and ask about my childhood. Why does that make you so upset? Unless you have something to hide. I'm upset because Isidore is trying to use my mother to come after me. And I'm telling you that I ain't gonna stand for it, Clarice. You wouldn't have to be worried about your whorish mother if you hadn't schemed your way to the top. I told you everything, Wade. You know her passing was an accident. We both know that you didn't tell me everything, Sean. What else would I be leaving out? Are you gonna stand by your story of it being an accident? That's correct. Explain something to me, Sean. How did you accidentally take Danny's clothes off before you placed her lifeless body into a suitcase? You got every reason to be mad, Max, but whoever got Yvette pregnant ain't any of your business. Except your cousin JJ made it my business when he spread rumors about me. I'm sorry that you got mixed into this, Max. I really am. But there's no use telling you who got me pregnant since he won't be involved with the pregnancy or the baby's life. Then why not let the whole world know that a deadbeat knocked you up, Yvette? Just leave it alone, Max, and move on. Hold on, Heidi. Shelley is very passionate about this, so she isn't going to put a hold on it just to benefit you. Do you think that I'll be able to beat Owen, since this is clearly a pro-life project? I could lose moderates in this election. You don't have to support the house, Heidi. We don't need it. Besides, why would Valley Park be opposed to a project that would actually benefit mothers and their babies? There's nothing wrong with it, Shelley. But Owen is a sneaky, venomous snake. He'll use this project of yours to his advantage. How many times do I have to tell you to watch your mouth when talking about my mama? She should have kept her hands off of my husband. Well, she didn't. Now I'm here and I had Dante Russo as a grandfather as a result. You're talking about how I schemed my way to the top? But how about Lorenzo's daddy? He ain't do any sneaky stuff to make Russo Jewelers a success all them years ago? Ask Lorenzo. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to share family history with you. Getting the history lessons ain't what I'm concerned about, Clarice. The present is my main priority, and I'm telling you right now that if your sons don't back off, then it won't end well for them. Seems like you're getting quite paranoid, Vivian. I only had her clothes taken off because I needed it to seem like a complete savage took her life. Great job, Sean, because the next time you see a savage will be when you look into the mirror. What are you trying to say, Wade? How exactly did you get in touch with Danny Clark in the first place? I ran into her on the street, and it seemed like she needed money. But what exactly drew you to her, a 14-year-old girl doing the sort of work that our workers do? Fine, I'll leave. But don't start thinking you'll be able to keep this secret forever. I know that from experience in my own family. You good? I'll be okay, Dee Dee. I still don't think this is any of Max's business, But he did have a point though. The guy who got you pregnant sounds like a straight up deadbeat. Like I told you before, my dad left me when I was young. Well, my baby won't have any memory of the father since the father won't show up. I'll deal with this with my parents' help, and that's final. Bottom line, Heidi, Owen is running against you, not against Shelly and I. You can disavow us anytime you like. That's not gonna happen, Jeremiah. I'd like to keep the voters who already agreed to vote for me because of your family's endorsement. Then what else do we need to discuss? Owen is willing to see Valley Park burn in order to win this election. Are you too willing to see this town get torn apart to ensure that he loses? I ain't paranoid, Clarice. I don't believe you. Which shouldn't be any surprise by now. It also should be no surprise that my sons will do whatever it takes to get their birthright back. What's going on in here? I'm certainly not speaking with your bastard to bond with her, Lorenzo. What was that all about, Vivian? Your wife and I just need to clear something up, which couldn't be put off. Forget this. Don't you dare think about walking away from me, Sean. Tell me the truth. Did you ever mess with that girl? No! I don't believe you, because no sane adult would ever take off a child's clothes, whether they be living or not. Admit it, Sean. You are a predator. You messed with her, and the whole world seemed to have figured it out. What are you even talking about? Some girl tried reaching you on your phone. She's so desperate for money that she's willing to work at the parlor. I will not let you bring this organization down because of your weakness. What are you trying to tell me, Wade? I promised our father that I'd keep this organization successful. I intend to keep that promise.